What's up, good people, man? Sorry for the delay. I was trying to get my new camera working. I was brand new last stream. But it ain't working today, so I got to do some more troubleshooting. But it is what it is, man. We got a good show on deck for you today. I hope everything is prosperous for you. I hope everything is going well. Y'all hit the like button if you were so gracious to do so. And I got a special guest, my guy Sub-Zero, man. Without further ado, Sub, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? What's going on with you?
Oh, man, nothing much, man. We got us I think this is going to be a hot topic right here.
Yeah, I like to have fun.
Absolutely. Shout out to Shaka King Black. First time seeing you on the channel, man. Good to see you. Good to see you pulling up. All right, so man, let's what we're gonna do is we're gonna review a few clips from Friday Night Tykes. I think that's gonna set correct backdrop to what the bulk of the content that we're gonna put out. We're gonna share obviously some anecdotal stories. And also actually the jumping off point, God dog it. It's a Kodak Black situation, man. So I know you've seen it, right?
Yeah, I saw it, man.
So
I saw it.
You know what? I'm gonna play it first, and I'm gonna let you go first. I'm gonna let you rock first. So let me do this real quick. We're gonna share screen. We're gonna show that Kodak Black. So this is just gives you context of what the expectation is amongst these youth league coaches, because what we kind of were talking about backstage is there has to be a certain code, a certain standard you hold up. These are young, impressionable men. And you choose to bring in a dude like Kodak Black. And listen, man, on his face, do kids like Kodak Black? Yes. But in my world, you got to properly vet this cat out before you have him speaking to youth, because dudes like him are compromised. Dudes like him are signed to a record label. They got an image they got to put out there, and it's not exactly checked by anything that is upright and moral. What say you, sir, before we get into it?
Yeah, I was just kind of ironic we brought this up because I was just right when we was about to go live, watched the video about the occultism in hip hop and how a lot of these people openly say they do occult things, admit to it. So that for one is one reason why you should never include kids in this type of situation. But secondly, Kodak Black is on record saying a lot of just reckless things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like just stuff that's just way out in left field. I don't want my child imitating Kodak Black. The only thing people like about Kodak Black is the money, or maybe some of the music. I don't know. I don't really like his music, but maybe somebody likes his music. But
he got a few bangers, even for a person as old as me.
Yeah, okay. So let's say he does have a couple of them. At the end of the day, most people like him because of his fame and a couple of songs he done made, and he got money. Other than that, there's no real reason to be a fan of this guy. But what he said is just unforgivable to these kids. It really is. And it just goes to show the mentality. This is what led me to bring up on my channel yesterday about how these coaches are. And I've been in these circles. This is normal, what you're about to see. There are people I've seen just as bad, if not worse, incidents of stuff like, yes, this only reason this is big is because it's Kodak Black. But I've seen street dudes coaching and saying and doing a lot of crazy things.
Hey, I couldn't have said it any better myself. And y'all hit that like button. Let's get some more bodies in here, because I think this is going to be a very valuable discussion about the subculture that goes on that doesn't really get talked about like that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it going.
And say no to drugs. They too good. Y'all gonna like it. You go crazy.
All right, damn, it's 5 seconds in. That could be the whole clip.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Say no to drugs. They too good. And if you try them, you're going to like them. What you just said was get on drugs because it's fun.
Correct.
Everybody laughed. But this is a guy who these kids may like Kodak Black. He's influential. Hip hop is influential. People know this. Who invited? The problem is, okay, Kodak Black is stupid. I expect Kodak Black to say something like this, right? We've seen the Hot 97 interviews. Every time he talks, it's something like this, right? Problem I have with it, who invited him?
Correct.
who okayed this guy? Why was he speaking to the kids? Because he a famous person? Why was Sexy Red invited to a school? Everybody had a problem with Sexy Red coming to a school shooting birds, being ratchet, talking about the low class stuff. I got it. Talking about the low class stuff that she talks about. So at the end of the day, that's one of the main issues.
No, that is 100% accurate. Shout out to Kevin. Shout out to Dante. Good to see you, bro. Said good discussion, fellas. Appreciate you. Shout out to Ant Dog. Said what it do, man. What it do, bro? Yeah, I mean, so
What's up, man?
yeah, this is just goofy, man. Like, so when you come in, and also if you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Do me one solid. So again, the vetting process. I mean, and let's look at the optics real quick. Let's keep it a stack. You got a Black and Mild in your ear, sagging your pants, and you got some alcoholic beverage in your hand, coming and speaking to kids, bro. And listen, man, is it okay to do these things on your own time? Absolutely, absolutely. But what you're doing right now is you're giving them basically an archetype of what a successful male is. And reality is this. These kids not going to grow up to be as famous rapping as Kodak Black. These kids are going to be young, regular members of society. And if we're being honest, the kind of archetype that he's portraying, that's a loser. You walk around with a Black and Mild in your ear, with a bottle of whatever in your hand, you're a loser, right? And not only that, you're probably a degenerate, man. And so, like, what are you pitching to these kids? And right off rip, you say, don't do drugs that make you go crazy. These kids, all you're doing is dangling that carrot in front of their face, man.
That's it.
At this age, when you tell them don't do it, and then you kind of surreptitiously put the effect of it, which is going to actually boost something in you. Come on, what do you think they're going to do? So that's why I don't like stuff like that, man. I don't like stuff like this at all, man. So let's keep going.
This shit teach y'all discipline and all that good shit. You feel me? Like, you gotta go to school, play football, gotta have your education. Oh man, this is what you learn. Team and brotherhood and all that. You know what team means? Team means together, everyone achieve all that good shit. You feel me? So we lit. Ain't no one.
All that good shit, you feel me? Listen, man, I understand, and this is kind of gonna piggyback what you were saying. So again, as an artist, I personally kind of like Kodak Black. I like the stuff he put out, like Gremlin. I thought that was a really good record. But this kind of goes back also to the thing that Malcolm X said in the 60s. Why in the Black community are celebrities at the vanguard of politics, political influence, social influence? Why? Like, nobody else does this. Like, why is he in a position where he clearly a little, I'll use the word inebriated. Like, no, I mean, I get it's Kodak Black. Like, bro, you got to put that bottle down, homie. You need to tighten up, man. What say you, sir?
I mean, this is the thing. Outside of what he's doing, just to speak to the subject of the video, he shouldn't be there. But this is the thing about Pee Wee League basketball. My wife, her little brother, when I met her, was like 5, just getting into Pee Wee League. I watched it all, bro. I'm talking about from kindergarten all the way up to high school, and I saw the dysfunction. And I remember the Pee Wee League games. I mean, I've seen people's stuff get shot out at practice at Pee Wee League. Like some dude started shooting at practice. Pee Wee League basketball, I mean football, especially being from the South. We both from the South. I'm from Alabama. You from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all we do. That's all. Basketball is second in the South. Let's just keep it above, right?
Bro, far back second.
yeah. It's not even close. But the problem is the culture, the type of leadership. Because when a child, and you gotta understand, it's just looking at human civilization for thousands of years, and this is what I mean. Thousands of years, men used to have a rite of passage, right? Like you saw a glimpse of it in the movie Roots, where they took Kunta before he got captured. They took him, and it was a rite of passage. And he went out, and they instilled values about what it means to be a man and to have kids and to raise a family. And that's you know, and they were pushing those values in him. And then he came to America and all, all the other stuff happened. But you see that sports is the closest thing we have to that. So I'm never going to just say don't play sports, right? We don't need it, but I'm not going to say it's a bad thing 100%. I think you get a lot of good things out of sports. You learn who you are on the inside. It's not about how good you are. It's about what can you face better men? What can you do to compete against better men? I ran up against many guys that were better than me on the court. I couldn't walk and chew gum when I grabbed the basketball. I rode the bench 7th grade, never saw the floor, okay? Never scored 2 punts my whole 7th grade year. Didn't score nothing, right? 8th grade, I scored 6 for the whole season. Like that's the type of guy I was, right? Way on the bench. And I'm just telling you, I see the value in it. But that doesn't mean, and this is where I draw a line, that doesn't mean any and everything these coaches do is good. What you see with a lot of us as black men is we say, oh, well, that's okay. That's just part of the culture. And you just let it go. You get an excuse. There's a lot of dysfunction in a lot of these locker rooms, a lot of these coaches, a lot of negativity. And I could just, I'm going to just stop right there. But there's a lot of things I've seen in my days playing just as a basketball player.
Yeah, so I think that's why me and you, like when we met up at the Manosphere meetup 3 years ago, we had like that synergy because we understood the sports thing as being the bridge of how me and you both think and act. I mean, because we didn't know each other at all, but we had that commonality of sports. It is a rite of passage. It's straight a rite of passage. Like I was a kid, my 9th grade year, and I'm just keeping a buck on this stream. I wouldn't get no time on the B team. And I remember crying after a game because I didn't even play at all. And my mama took us all out to somewhere to go eat. I can't remember exactly where. But that's that world. Fast forward 5 years later, I'm playing Division I basketball. Coming from the B team, sitting on the bench, not playing at all. So it's a character building thing like you wouldn't believe. And it's important the development, the people who are in your life. 2 of my really good friends, Jared Ellison, who's actually the head basketball coach at our old high school now at Eisenhower in Houston, North Side, 4 acres home, if you know the region. He's the head coach there, and his dad was integral to me coming up and being who I am, just, putting – because he was really big on us praying before every practice that he could control. We're open gym at that time when we were in high school because obviously he's not coaching. But just encouraging us, putting the right seeds on us, being a married man. Also my guy between the game sports, his name is Will in real life. Will's dad, he told me something that was, I don't even know if he even knew that was even impactful to me like that, but he told me, he's like, Cliff, man, your best basketball is ahead of you. He told me that after our senior year when we used to do open gyms at the high school. And he was right. Like I went and played D1 after only playing 1 year varsity. I went to play professional basketball in Europe. He was right. But that gave me like it basically broke a new ceiling in my mind that like, okay, just keep staying to the process, keep staying this. And let me lay context properly. These same two men been in my life since I've been like 8 years old, right? So from about 8 to 18, they've seen my progress. They've seen where I'm at, and they were consistent with their message. So the whole overarching thing of this is like, if this is your messaging to these young men, listen, you put them in a tough position. You put them in a really tough position because this is not how you build. I don't care if he's famous. This dude is a drug addict. This dude cannot talk ever. You listen, man. Put a compilation of Kodak Black up there. He always saying some ill shit, right? So I just, and we're going to get a little more juicier in bad coaching, but we're kind of, again, laying the foundation down because this was more recent about these these youth league coaches just doing questionable practices, man. And their job is to hold up, the development of these young kids, man.
Yeah.
All right,
go ahead.
You go ahead.
No, I'm with you 1,000%, man. And like I said, I had stories of guys. I know guys that sold drugs, that got sent down a certain path. But as a kid, knowing what I know, they could have went either way. Like you know, there's a certain point with a child where they break off and become a man. And you know what type of man they're gonna be. You know what type of man they're gonna be. That's me. You know what I'm saying? That you know what type of man they're gonna be in life, and then what winds up happening is they wind up getting sit down a path. And dudes that sell drugs, I mean, I'm from the hood, you know, and a lot of dudes wanted to make dreams. They were actually pretty good, but you know, he wasn't the man. You know, he wasn't that guy. So the coach come at people a certain way, you know, and I think it's, you know, it's an objective, it's a subjective thing. I think you can find just as many people, oh, I like Coach so and so. He was this, he was that. It just make a man out of you. You know, at the end of the day, let's look at where we are as black men. Is sports really benefiting us? As far as is it really benefiting us? Because I'll make the case that as much as we play sports, I don't think it brings what we think it brings. We're not getting out of it what we should. A lot of that I blame on the type of men that are in leadership, the coaches. One of the best things I feel like I learned about basketball, you can bust your ass in life and expect something, and it just don't happen. But you keep trying, you keep fighting, but you may never get reward for hard work. Like hard work is just okay, work hard, you get what you deserve. No, it doesn't work like that. You can work hard and just barely get a modicum of success. And this other guy doesn't work, lazy, cuss the coaches out. That's his guy. Whatever, he can cuss him out, he can quit.
That's
like
facts.
I said, I was in what's the name of that? We were at a ministry thing. Now I had a Christian coach. They had ministry, all this. I'm at Wallace Community College in Selma, Alabama. We went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee for this Christian like conference with all these different, you know, people and all these speakers. One guy cussed this guy. Now this guy is not he's good, but he's talking about like a 9 point a game guy. We're not talking about a real dog, right? This dude cussed out the athletic director, the head coach, and the assistant coach. They left him in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. He gets back to Selma and starts the very next game. Then we had a game that was like Sunday morning. Wednesday we had a game, he was starting. Like this the type of, you know what I'm saying? Now that's JUCO. But what I'm saying is sometimes you're not doing the best. Like, and I see this a lot of times. A lot of coaches, you're gonna lose anyway. You're not gonna win the championship. Why would you let? I'm gonna tell you, there was a guy by the name of Coach McCracken. I think that was a football coach. But I forget the guy's name. He was at Lee High School. We had this guy. This guy was the man. All city, all state, by 6'6". Basically was a small forward, but he was playing center. Could play. Dude set that dude on the bench and lost. They was undefeated. He sat him on the bench and lost. They was like 15-0, middle of the season. And I remember reading the article. He was just like, I'm trying to instill values in him because I'm his coach. I'm not just gonna be. And that's why I really did want to play for that guy, because I saw it was more about us instilling values and trying to really get the best out of his players instead of just, you know. And a lot of these coaches, it's just they trying to live through these players more so than anything.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what we're gonna get into with this. But yeah, I mean, like, listen, man, impactful coaches are impactful coaches. When I was coaching middle school, I told my kids I don't give a damn about winning no district championship. That means nothing to me. What I do want to do is prepare you for high school. I want to prepare you for college, and that's how we're gonna run this program. So we didn't win district. Like, and listen, for a middle school placard to be on in the gym and to go to freaking Applebee's and you can strut your shit, that means nothing to a dude who played Division I basketball, who played professional. That means nothing to me. But what you find is a lot of coaches, like, that's the standard. So what are you going to do? You're going to do things like pressing, being in zone, not teaching principles. So these high school coaches are giving these kids like, damn, who? Anybody teach you anything? Shit. And one thing, you know, personally, my whole thing was I'd be mortified if someone said, who's your middle school coach? And they said, Coach Franks, and they'll not do nothing. Nah, it wasn't flying. It wasn't flying at all. And a kid I want to reference, and we talked about this backstage, is Andre Washington, man. And shout out to him. He actually just graduated from Cameron University. He was one of my project kids to start off, man. Like he had a really long Kevin Durant build. In the 7th grade, he was one of the popular kids, but he couldn't really play basketball. And I remember our first few practices, he couldn't make a layup to save his life. But he come in the gym, first thing he do, well, sub, you play basketball. What do kids love to do when they first get in the gym?
Shoot long, have range threes. Try to
threes.
Yeah.
I was like, Dre, no. You need to, and matter of fact, shout out to my guy Jared again, head coach at Eisenhower High School. He was coaching with me at the time. He had the 8th grade team. I had the 7th grade team. We used to do after school workouts. And I told him, like, bro, if you can't make a layup, you can't do anything for me. So the first practice, I mean, it may have been a little bit, embarrassing for him. But I told him to go on the side goal. I like, Andre, I need to right leg, left leg, up. 1, 2, up. 1, 2, up.
George Mikan. Yeah.
Like, when not even under the basket, no, just approaching the goal and doing a layup. I was like, Andre, I can't use you if you can't make a layup. And so he was embarrassed. But you know what happened that second workout? He had it down. So, okay, Andre, thank you for learning that. So now you can come learn. And that's development. Like, because he didn't know how to do his feet right to do a layup. And I would question if a lot of coaches do that shit. Because I learned that drill. Well, I'm sorry, not learned it. I've seen it redone in like 11th grade before. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, this thing is, these essential things do get ignored in the trenches. So bring it all back. After, he thrived again. He became a Division II athlete and graduated just recently. And listen, man, that's the win for me. Some of these cats right here, what I'm seeing, what they're instilling in these kids on the onset, it's just ridiculous. And I'm gonna get some of these comments real quick. Ant Dog said Little League football in Cleveland High is huge as well, in Greenville High as a pipe I've seen for years. Well, I'm sure there's probably structure to that, and I think that's kind of our contention point, is that these ones that are not structured, these are detrimental to these young men, because you're selling this dream that it's football, it's basketball, or nothing, and it's just not true. Dipper Bang says, I know the perk was fake, but I still ate. The words may have been wrong, but its impact by those kids pulling up is what made the difference. The discernment would be done later. I don't see the discernment happening if we're talking Kodak Black. I don't see anything in him that shows me that he has that level of control over a said situation as far as discernment is concerned. I don't see it. See, Kevin says some of the most influential guys from my youth were coaches. Back then, they had our best interests in mind. These days, these coaches are looking for a payday. Hey, and I'll take it a step further. These coaches looking to mash on these single mothers too.
Yeah, that's that. When you talk about the little league stuff, that's what they try to do. That's a big thing. They out there. A lot of those guys. And then on top of that, one of the things I didn't like, look, call me a old Poindexter type dude. I hate to see black men with their pants hanging down, sagging, stuff like that. I'm really not a big fan of this knotty hair thing that all these guys comb your hair. I'm old fashioned. I'll raise my hand. That's me, right? But just going to these games back in the day, I used to go, and it just was a certain type of element of men that run these little Pee-wee League games. These are the guys that come coach the game and then go get high.
Yeah. Or be high while you're in the game. Are you there, sir? You kind of borging out. Can you hear me? All right, Sub audio is a little off. All right, so let me go into the video until his audio returns. Sub, feel free to speak freely when you come back.
Ain't then when y'all own my foot, how raw y'all live, ain't no one bigger than the two. Oh yeah, so y'all Brick City, and y'all bigger than Brick City.
My bad.
So,
all right, yeah.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, I'm riding by Stone. I was riding by Stone Mountain, man. So every time I come here by Stone Mountain, it get like that. But that was it. I like I said, a lot of coaches go to those Pee Wee games for other reasons. I just know it's a ratchet hood environment, and I wouldn't want my child in that. I'm sorry. You can learn skills. I've seen dudes grab a ball in the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, never played before, and go D1. So one thing about being young, it doesn't take a whole lifetime of this stuff. If you want to grab a ball in the 8th grade, yeah, you behind. It's obvious. But it's not hard. It's not like these kids in the 8th grade are Michael Jordan. You know what I'm saying? You can easily, and I've seen this because I did it. I grabbed the ball in the 7th grade, sight under, like, I had played little backyard pickup for fun, but I never really played any real organized basketball till 7th grade. And I went to college. I actually was getting.
You kind of you kind of borging out again. All right, Sub, you borging out. All right, let me play that into Sub. Get back into good coverage area, and so we can get back to
Brick City, and y'all been Brick City. So,
yeah, RJ, I told him about you, RJ.
And listen, man, I'm cool with Kodak saying that there's nobody bigger than team. I'm with that 100%. But overarchingly, man, this is just a horrible setup.
Lamar Jackson. Lamar.
Yeah, RJ.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, RJ.
Ricky Kodak.
All right, so then, whatever, giving a kid a chain, I got no issues with that. Just make him feel good with something expensive on his neck. That's cool. But reality is this, man. When you have entities like that who have very questionable morals, have very questionable ideologies, these kids follow Kodak Black beyond, his overall like persona. Well, I'm sorry, beyond him sitting there talking about what he perceives as giving them a good message. Because they're going to go relook at stuff that he put out. He put out a lot of bullshit. So, like, again, starting the premise off of what this is, that's just not a good idea. It's just not a good idea. So we're also going to go into the Friday Night Tykes series. So we're going to start and show how these coaches get overzealous. Now, we talked about it more or less from a moral standpoint with that first entity. Now we're going to kind of deviate into from the actual execution coaching aspect, where these coaches are doing these kids an extreme disservice. All right, so you back? All right, you back. Go ahead and speak up when you get a chance. And Diamonds Dallas, Jesus says, exactly, they can't get advanced, the child will suffer. There you go. They can't get with your sexual advances. A lot of the coaches are former current street hustlers also, absolutely, especially in the football sector. You see a whole bunch of those kind of archetype dudes. It's just like, what are you really instilling in these kids? I think that's the overarching concern that people like Sub and myself have. Sub, you back? All right, Sub still got his audio issues over there. No problem. All right, so we're going to – can you hear me? All right, you're still struggling a little bit. All right, so we're going to go into so with the main topic, the soup du jour, as it was, we're going to talk about some of these issues as far as controversy that these coaches be doing. One more time, Sub, are you in? All right, you still not in. All right.
You had the opportunity today to rip their freaking head off and let them bleed. That's the question.
All right, I see Dipper commented. Let me say before we get to it. Dipper says the Pee Wee coaches. All right, you got hella lives up. God damn it.
All right, I'm back, bro. My bad, man. I don't know.
All right, so Dipper Bang says the Pee Wee League coaches may not be the best examples as far as morality is concerned, but they are the boots on the ground to provide an outlet for youngins. I don't disagree with that, but the problem is if you're an outlet, but you are letting in degenerate, degenerate, rearing. What are you really doing? That's like
I don't
saying,
think.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I don't
No,
think
go
a lot
ahead.
of these guys understand what real. These kids are. These little boys are looking to you to see what a man is. Is a
Bingo.
man somebody that is emotional and doesn't have self-control and ignorant and curses everybody out and throws things? And I mean, I could go in on stuff like, for example, a great example I told you about a coach, Dan Lewis of a high school in my.
Man, you kind of bugged out on us again. well, so until
Class.
sub,
Like when I came up,
hold
yeah,
on,
I was
sub.
in class. I was.
you was borging out. So what you said when you said the name of that coach, start from there.
Okay, Dan Lewis, he's at Carver High School in Montgomery, right? He was. So at Carver, from like when I was coming up, when you play ball, you step on the court, you're gonna play with guys from like older guys that were graduated 5, 6, 7 years older than you, up and up. And then when you get off the court, you playing with guys that's 7, 8 years younger than you. And I'm telling you, from the whole entire time we was around, he did the same thing. If a coach expressed interest, like Clemson, which I knew I wasn't gonna get no done love from no Clemson. Okay, I knew I wasn't signing with Clemson, but they came. We was ranked number 6 in the country. Clemson came in there. My homeboy was an All-American, right? So soon as Clemson got there, I say, man, I'm finna show these jokers who I am, So I got my homeboy. I say, Pat, man, give me the ball by the free throw, because we had this little drill, 2-on-2. What was it? 3-on-2, 2-on-1. Like, you know what I'm talking about, right? So my boy missed the shot, had to get back. He the All-American. They gave me the ball. I took that dribble and went at it. Just took off on him. And he hit me across the chest, but I missed it. But I went up over it. You know what I'm saying? And my boy about 6'8", 6'9". So the reason I'm saying that, I sat there and watched it. Oh, that kid, you don't want that kid. Can't put him in a good system. He this, he that. I was like, because they asked about me. My homeboy said, man, they asked about you, man. Coach Lewis told him, that he couldn't put you in a system and you was this and you was that. And I was like, dang, man. Like, and so I talked to other guys that played years prior to me, and they said, man, they got letters from different schools and the coach was holding the letters. And I mean, why would you do that? If you really are trying to help somebody, if someone expresses interest, and I noticed a lot of his kids would not get signed unless you was like done there like a top 100, type player, or at least a top 200, that type of guy. If you're not like that, he's not going to promote you. He's going to tell you to join the military. He's going to tell you you're not good enough. You'll never make it. He would just say that. He would tear people down. And I always told that story of my homeboy that wound up being a 6'4", like probably 43, 40-inch vertical point guard. Joined the Army. He joined the Army. My homeboy Jamie. Jamie was, when he was in high school, about 6'1", 6'2", with long arms. Great point guard, can handle the basketball, everything. Coach, we doing a drill where you go up, come back down, you attack the basket. Coach Lewis blew the whistle. Right when Coach Lewis blew the whistle, my ball was going up in the air. So he took that last dribble and went up and did a 2-hand windmill. So when he did it, everybody was like, oh, man, everybody was kind of, because we had never seen him do that. So my boy walking to the back of the line, Coach Lewis just sat there with his whistle, and then hauls off and slaps him in the back of the head to where it echoed real hard. And, my boy was about to cry after that. Because the problem I had with that, and this is why I thought he would low down, I said, man, Jamie the type of guy will run through a brick wall for Coach Lewis. He ain't had to slap that boy like that. And, people are, that just going to make him tough. Bro, the next year, well, first Jamie went home and called his mom, because if Jamie had called his dad, Coach Lewis would have been dead. His dad would have come there and killed him. Called his mom. His mom came up there and cussed him out, said, don't be slapping on my son. And he was, oh, no, I ain't mean them. Like, yeah, but you just don't put your hands on people's child, right? Yeah. But which is to be expected. Do you know Coach Lewis cut that boy next year? He was on the varsity. in the 11th grade, and he cut him. He didn't look. He came in there. I forgot to tell you this. He came in there the first week, killing. He should have been the starting point guard. He cut him. He was starting to grow some. I think he's about 6'3" by the end. He cut him. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you have a lot of guys like that are dream killers. They don't help you. They don't help people. They're negative. It's a lot of coaches. I've been through that. That doesn't mean it made me a better man because I dealt with somebody that would see me get off in practice and tell me, I can't wait till so-and-so come in here. He gonna kill you. That's the type of coach he was. So I don't think there's anything redeeming or good about this guy. I really hated playing for him. And given that I went to other schools and played for other coaches, I saw how a coach should treat people. I'm like, man, if I go in here and I bust my butt and dive on the floor for loose balls, I'm taking charges. I'm diving in the bleachers. I mean, I was a workhorse. He would let me tell you how I was. He'll put me on top of the press. He used to call me Wild. He said, call me Wild Bill. I'm gonna put him on top of the press. He ain't gonna let nobody get past half court. So I was gonna do whatever he told me because I wasn't the most skilled guy. I was like, well, I gotta earn everything I get. So I gotta get out here. I gotta work hard. I got to play defense. I gotta do things that need to be done to win the game. And when you have a coach that treated those guys like dogs, but then to let another guy cuss him out, you go into his house begging his parents to have him listen to you. And I'm like, man, this man used to cuss Coach Lewis out every day. And Coach Lewis begging him to play, but the other guys, you dogging them out, doing them dirty. That's my problem. And and you like, well, you still got all this baggage. Man, I'm about to be 50. I can care less. I don't play ball no more. I'm just saying a lot of coaches are dream killers and they're not good coach. They're not good coach. They don't help these kids. I don't think they help them. Because you got another coach all of a sudden start signing with Charles. People started going D1. Way more kids got signed after he left. Did the talent improve? No. The same talent pool. It was who was at the helm. I mean, this dude was holding letters. Like, people didn't even know. People didn't even know their letters was getting held. So they got somewhere they'll walk on. Like, yo, we sent you a recruiting letter. You know, we wanted you to come on a visit. What? Coach Lewis, man. Didn't tell nobody. Why? I don't want him to get the big head. I used to hear him say that. Actually, he gonna get the big head. I don't want him thinking he.
All right, I'm gonna step in because I love you shared that example. So from my lived experience, myself, literally, I had that same thing, and the reasoning was the exact same thing. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna take a journey to Facebook real quick, y'all. All right, so you see me. So you know, on YouTube, niggas can say all kind of things. I lived a real basketball life. So for you guys who've been following me long enough, you know my name is Cliff Franks. So this is me, my freshman year at Stephen F. Austin State University. You see my birthday, that's me, 6'6", 190. I was probably about 170, actually. Eisenhower High School, Houston, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that's me, my freshman year. I walked on at SFA. SFA, who's actually one of the last teams to beat Duke, at Duke in 2019. It was a glorious occasion. All right, so after I left SFA, I went to Mountain View College in Dallas, Texas. And shout out to O-Dog if he's going to listen on the replay game. He played at Mountain View too, and he don't like the assistant coach that I had. But the head coach was a guy named Reginald Osborne. And Coach Oz, man, was just in over his head. Didn't really know what he was doing. So literally, from what I've come to find, I got messed over in two ways. First way was I literally had he had a big grip of letters that he didn't give me. And his reasoning was what you just said. I didn't want you to get the big head. I'm like, what? You don't want me to get the big head? Like, isn't the whole point of junior college to get guys into four-year institutions, especially high major ones? He withheld letters from Florida State, Sam Houston State University, Hawaii, University of Hawaii, Michigan. Because I had reached out to some of those big schools. You know, I'm like 19, 20 years old, so I'm going to write to the biggest ones. So they responded back. They started following us. But they were going through the school. This son of a bitch ain't sent none of my film out. He didn't respond to none of them because he didn't want me to have a big head. His whole thing was he wanted us just to win the conference. Excuse me. He wants to win these game by game basis. That's the way he judged his good performance. Because he's also with the athletic director. And I'm just like, my guy, your whole point is a 2-year institution. It's to get guys to the next level so you can constantly funnel people in and out. And I understand this at a young age. So I remember calling someone coaching back. Coach Wooden was one. He was the assistant coach at Sam Houston State University at the time. And by the time I got wind of him reaching out, he was like, yeah, Cliff, so what year are you, 2006? I was like, no, I'm 2005. He's like, oh, man, yeah, we're done with recruiting for this year, unfortunately. I called Coach Nash, who was he ended up getting, the head coaching job at Hawaii, black man. And I talked to him, and he was just like, yeah, it was just too late in our recruiting process, man. I'd love to have you, man, but yeah, I don't think we can make it work this late in the game. So this is two. I mean, I would have went to Hawaii for sure. I mean, my mindset back then was going to Hawaii. So I didn't get a chance to even be properly recruited because my junior college coach, for whatever reason, didn't understand what it took from a wherewithal standpoint to like, yo, you need to have your best kids in position to go somewhere. And here's number two that held me back in that program. And I'm just going to keep it real. My first year I played at Mountain View. I had a really good year. I think I averaged like 15 and 13, some shit like that. So I played Division III JUCO. So if you guys don't know about D3 JUCO, it's no scholarships. And shout out to Miss Goss, man. Rest in peace, Miss Goss. She's also she was a Prairie View alum. And she helped me find my little Pell Grants and, get money so to be able to afford to uproot my life and live in Dallas and all that good stuff. But anyway, they had a situation where after the first year, I played really well against a school called Collin County. It's a Division I JUCO, which is in the affluent area of Dallas, who can give you a scholarship. So I went and his name was Coach Sigona. And he was like, after the game, and they beat us, but it was a close loss. He's like, man, I like the way you play, man. Hey, just let me know, man, if the situation not gonna work for you, I'd love to have you. So after the season, I reached out to Coach Sigona. And Coach said, yeah, man, I honor what I said. I'd love to have you. I went and told Coach Oz, like, listen, man, Coach Oz, I appreciate you having me on the program, but listen, this is a situation where I can actually get a scholarship and a little more exposure. So I do want to go to Collin County. His words, and I quote, I ain't going to sign your release. I ain't going to sign your release. So it was dead right there. Now that I'm an older man, I know I could have challenged that. But I just thought I was hamstrung. So I came back another year at Mountain View. And we actually beat Collin County that next year. But after that, we started getting our ass whooped as usual because, it just was a bad program. But I'm just like, if a kid came to me and you told me that you had a better situation and the coach, you talked through it, I wouldn't waste any time because it's bigger than that. Now, I would ask you more questions like, why do you want to go? Can I offer you anything? But I would never say you can't go there just off rip without even prodding and poking to anything. I'm gonna do what's best for the kid. And that's what these dudes be doing, man. And so I hate to call Coach Oz out like that, but that's just what happens in these trenches. It's damn unfortunate, man.
And that's the premise. The whole premise is this. If the objective is for you as a coach to, okay, we're going to try to win games. I'm going to try to teach you the skills of basketball, which is what I would think a coach should be focused on. Is I was told when I first grabbed the basketball, every year you play basketball on an organized team, you should become better, more intelligent, in understanding how the game works because you just have that much more game time experience, right? So you should be a better ball player after that. You should be and on top of that, you're going to try to make them a better man, better, or prepare them to be a better person, better individual. And so when I hear coaches doing the complete opposite, then, you know, it just, to me, it doesn't make sense. Now, usually the guys that will have a problem with this are two guys that have a problem with what we're talking about. The All-American that got all the playing time, that was blue chip All-American, that just didn't get why everybody had a problem with it. Or the, you know, guy that never played a lick of ball. But if you've been on a team and you done bust your ass and you done everything, and I mean, I had a contusion on my thigh from taking charges. I had knees all scratched up and bloody from diving all on the floor to get loose balls and doing any and everything I can, about to pass out, coming to the huddle, about to pass out because you done gave your all. You know what I'm saying? And when you do that, that's a guy that you reward. And so that's the thing. I always felt like I always said I was the type of guy that was gonna be a yes sir, no sir type of player. Whatever you tell me to do, I'm gonna do it. You tell me to run through a brick wall, I'm gonna do it. Why would you tell a kid like that you rooting for another guy to get the best of him? You think you're doing something, don't you? Like, why would you do that? That right there is something different. Not just, okay, I'm trying to motivate you to be a better person. And that's what my home was. I mean, he's just trying to challenge you. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. Because the other kid, he don't talk to him. The one he was saying that was gonna get the best of me, he was playing football. He never did him like that. He just automatically, he'd get in the game and miss a dunk. He laughing. The coaches, man, he saw how high he jumped. I remember he did that one time. Dude missed a dunk. And he looked at the assistant coach and said, you saw how high he was. And I was like, now, if I get in the game and I miss a dunk, I'm on the bench probably till next year. I'm never going to get off the bench again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Dude, I don't think the dude was a better defender than me or anything. It was just in junior high, he was a better ball player than everybody, and he wanted him. So when he got him, he had free reign to do whatever he wanted to do. And that's the thing. Now, look, you're going to have better players, right? Everybody does. But I think that's the thing. I think that it's a real toxic environment with a lot of these coaches. Like I said, slapping my homeboy, slapping him upside the head because he did a dunk when you blew the whistle, and then cutting him. This dude held a grudge and cut him the next year. Like, just because he called his mom because you slapped him in his head that you had no business doing. That's childish, bro. You're a grown man. You know what you did. Good. Thank God he didn't call his dad. And his mama said she didn't want to tell his dad. She knew his dad was crazy. I knew his dad. His dad would have beat the brakes up out of Coach Lewis. But they didn't tell his dad. And so that's the thing, though. You got coaches like that. And my thing is, when I bring this up, like, I got homeboys, we all played ball together. Me and Jamie we feel the same way about Coach Lewis. But the one that was the All-American, he don't feel that way. My homeboy, he don't feel it. He's like, man, y'all holding on to grudges. Y'all holding, like, no, bro. This dude, like, I talked to another point guard from some years prior, and he was getting recruited by UNLV, didn't even know it. He might have been on their recruiting list, but he didn't even get the letters. He didn't even know it. So it's not just because you're on the recruiting list don't mean they're trying to sign you. They know you're a guy. It's okay. Let me send him some letters. He wasn't getting his letters. Whose fault is that?
Yep. Self-explanatory. Coach fault.
And so that's the thing. I think a lot of these AAU coaches and even these little league coaches, they do a disservice to these kids, man. I think it's, AAU is wide open. Me and you could just throw a team together today.
Absolutely.
As long as we got the money, we can go out here and be in these tournaments.
Absolutely.
We could be, and man, I could not know a lick of basketball. I could have never played. I know dudes like that. Never played a lick of organized basketball. Don't know anything about the game. And they don't even study the game. They just watch TV. Absolutely. And they think they can go out there and coach. And these guys, because they got the right money, you got the right funding, you can be at the Peace Jam. You can be that, you know what I'm saying? You know what the Peace Jam is. Mm-hmm. You go to these different things. This thing, you got a team of, with some high caliber guys, but you're not teaching them nothing because you don't know what you're doing.
No, it's big facts. And that's actually why I was a one and done coaching AAU. I coached at Crossover Athletics. Shout out to my girl T. She played on the girls team at Prairie View when I played there. I coached the 16U team. Well, we had two 16U teams, so I had one of them. Rayford Austin actually was the head coach for the 18U team. Well, 17U, I believe it was framed as. So yeah, I mean, like I was in there with Rayford Austin every day, coaching and shit. And the people that was in our program, and shout out to T, man, she used to vet out coaches pretty well. So we didn't have no fuckery in our gym. But when you go out and play these tournaments, man, these coaches, and to go to your point about just being stupid, just dumb, not teaching the game. I remember one tournament, we had we had 6 guys. This other team sub, I ain't lying, they had about 15 dudes. And I remember, and our starting point guard was out for whatever reason. So I told my second best player, his name was Trevor. I was like, okay. He was a tall point guard, but he couldn't really, he wasn't really a point guard, but he could see the game pretty well, but he didn't have the handles, but he did have the handles at the same time, if that makes sense. And
he
I
had
remember
the handles, the offensive handles to score, but not to run.
to not run a team. Because when I had Justice, there's no way I would let Trev be. There's no way. Anyway, we played against this team at Jersey Village High School, and the coach had all these bodies. This man did not step up and press the entire time. He didn't try to run my kids ragged. And I remember.
Can I be honest with you though? Let's be honest.
Go ahead.
Pressing is something that if you play organized basketball, listen, people don't believe in playing high school, and I get it. You're not gonna get seen most of the time with a high school basketball team. It's always the AAU, right? But what happens is you got a guy that's an engineer that got a little money. He making 6 figures. He want to put his son is growing up, so he want to put a team together. They go get the best of the best. He got his whole homeboys. They all chip in, slide the kid $500 in a pair of Jordans, and now he on your team. He all American. Mm-hmm. You see stuff like that all the time because it's really not that regulated like people think. And that's what I saw when we was coaching. Like I saw a dude start a team and got the best guys in the city all on one team. Money.
We had team
he just threw money at me. It wasn't like he was rich like millions, but he was getting this before NIL was around. Man, he's getting these kids. You give a kid $500 in a box with some Jordans, he gonna play for you.
Yeah, I'm already.
He gonna play for you. You know what I'm saying? That's all they was doing. You take $2,000-$3,000. You got 5 or 6 dogs on one team. You gonna beat everybody, and that's what they did. And it's sad because like when it comes to pressing, that's somebody that's been on an organized team before that understands what a press is, the importance of it. I likened it to, and I think Coach Lewis, even though I don't think he was a good coach. I do think he was a very good defensive minded coach. We ran that, we called it, he called it hell. What he called, instead of 40 minutes of hell, it was, I think we had 32 minutes or something, 32 minutes of hell. Well, we would press the whole game. And back then, that's what Duke used to do. So defensive pressure was the thing back then. And the guy that was on the top of the guy that was on the ball when they was taking it out, like you run a 1-2-2 press, you got to really, you got to be willing to move. The press gonna get broke every time.
Well, let me say this too. And listen, I'm a fan of situational pressing. I think you need to teach guys to guard. So I'm not a proponent for pressing all game long because I think it makes you deficient in defensive principles. But me as a coach who played basketball, I see there's 5 dudes over there and I got bodies. I'm gonna run y'all ragged. I'm gonna make y'all submit because you're too tired. And I remember,
I think you got to look at the personnel in the sense if you got a solid, smart point guard, ball handling point guard, yeah, pressing's not going to be that effective, right?
Absolutely
he know how to get a ball up.
Absolutely.
He know how to. He makes good. Correct. He makes good. He don't make dumb passes. All you need is about 2 guards that can do that don't make dumb passes, and the press is not going to be as effective. But I think most teams don't have that. Most teams, if you press them,
absolutely not.
At first, and this is what I noticed, at first, we would be pressing and teams they'll break it. We'll get back in our defensive set. We still could get back. We knew how to get back. We all we did was run suicide. So we was in shape. He break the press. We're gonna get back. We're gonna run up, set up our man to man. We ran man to man mostly because we were working a 4-on-4 shell every day. Like, so we was used to ball you man, see the ball, see your man, split the lanes. Okay, you one pass away, deny. 2 passes away, split, ball you man, So we did it like that. But the problem was, like I said, offensively was where we just didn't have it. We'll lock you up on defense. We couldn't play no offense, bro. The offense, he just ran a done flex from the he's still running that done 1955 flex offense.
I mean, I like a hybrid flex offense, but a true flex offense is just like Princeton. It's just it ain't for anybody with some athletic prowess. But let me finish kind of my premise. So again, I'm a conditional presser. Like, if we need to speed the tempo up, like we had to think in high school, after every made basket, we get a Mad Dog. Mad Dog was basically a man press, but it's only after a made basket because it takes time to inbound the ball, and we got time to get in our shit. But anyway, so knowing the personnel, you got all them bodies over there. I ain't got no bodies over there. I told you, I'm playing with my backup point guard. He a tall guy, but he's not like that. And I remember the first possession, Trev trying to start to show that he a point guard and do all this. I called a timeout. I was like, listen, man, you're going to be tired doing that shit. I got nobody else to bring the ball up. Here's what I want you to do every possession. I want you to walk the ball up. Trust me. Trust me. Just trust me on this one. Walk the ball up every play. If they're not getting up in you, walk it up every play, and you'll be good to go in the fourth quarter. And I'll be damned, that coach let me walk Trevor up the court every play.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Because if I see that, I'm like, yo, I'm about to throw some bodies at this dude.
But everybody know that anyway. Like, if you got 5 guys.
Everybody don't know that, though. No.
Yeah, well, I'm saying, everybody know, man, they ain't got no bench. Just run them. I don't care how good you are. Run them. Look, man, when you get tired, everybody becomes cowards. When you get tired, it makes a coward out of you. You're not going to play that. First quarter, you on lockdown. You all high energy. You running. You doing all this. You closing out. You doing everything right. Second quarter, you're a little winded. Now you're not it gets easier to score as the game goes on. It actually does.
Absolutely. I agree with that. But okay, so to give full context, the game before that, we got our ass whooped, and it's so much so that they was trying to, again, we talking about 16-year-olds I'm dealing with. So they, at the end of the game, were just trying to dunk on them every play. And I remember telling the kids, because my kids were soft. I was like, and y'all excuse my French real quick. I was like, that's how you do weak motherfuckers every time. Good shit. I remember telling kids that, and so my kids could hear that. Because it's like, dog, y'all be talking all this shit in practice and how good y'all are. And somebody thought so low of y'all in the last fourth quarter. All they were doing is trying to set y'all up to dunk on y'all the whole time. I'm like, man, in my world of playing basketball, man, it'd have been people on the floor, right? So the next day was when some kids didn't come back because I said what I said and I meant it.
Oh, they got hurt. They got their feelings hurt about that.
They got butt hurt. So the next day,
I mean, their end is the dichotomy, right? Like there needs to be a level of mental toughness that you have as a kid. If you quit because somebody hurt your feelings, that's different. But if somebody trying to dunk on you and you don't have no fight and you give up, is he lying? At least back in my day, we would have asked that question of ourselves. Is he right, though? Did I quit? Did I and I've been on teams where niggas quit, right? I've seen people give up first half. We went up against Tallahassee down there. This was Tallahassee Community College, was number 1 in the country. They had like 3 NBA players on their team. They beat the brakes off us, bro. I mean, they beat us bad. But them cats, we was going back and forth trading buckets with them, and they just gave up, man. They had some dude from Mississippi. I think he wound up going to prison. Now he should have been an NBA player though. But this dude, I mean, he was mouthing off at the coach. Watch this, coach. He can't check me, coach, and he'll just go and do some move. And I mean, the dude was nice, and he messed around and bro, he just took the heart out of these cats. They just gave up. And I remember coach put me in there, and I was like, man, y'all niggas come, I was mad because they gave up. And that's what pissed me off. But he came out there and blamed all us. And when he was back there going, I said, wait a minute, coach, I ain't give up. I didn't give up, But they was up there going, get angry, going off on everybody. Y'all gave up. Y'all ain't this. Y'all ain't that. But I ain't give up. But I know them guys, they was looking down because they know they did give up. You let them boys take your heart, man. But that's one of the things, that's one of the reasons I'm not the biggest LeBron fan. I think there have been times where you can see he's been demoralized on the court. You should, if that happens, you're going to run into people that's better. You're going to run into people that can do things, but giving up is something I don't tolerate. I don't tolerate that. That'll make it where I won't say nothing else to you the rest of the year. You can sit deep on the bench.
That's the perfect segue to this comment. And Dipper, I know you ain't played basketball like that. So I just want to kind of give you insight on my perspective. My perspective is always to prepare these kids for college. The rigor, the level, and what have you. Now, Sub's example was a coach playing favorites and just talking down on people for just any reason. My frustration came from, I told them the level of expectation. You got to work hard. You got to have pride. So it got to the point where these kids, and I'm not even, trying to be funny. These kids were juniors who did not make JV at their school. And most of them were like in the Stafford area. So they probably went to Marshall or forget the other high school around that area. So these are kids who need a lot of work, right? But when you hear them speak, they were speaking as if they knew more than me. They spoke as if they're good to go already. And all these kids were undersized. So when I told them that that's how you do weak motherfuckers, I want them to see that, listen, this is y'all's level. And y'all think y'all this great. Y'all think y'all some great fighters. I mean, we played in Third Ward and we got into it with this team. And one of my kids, I forget it, KB. He was the only dude ready to fight. All them dudes always talking about, I'll beat your ass, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hold on. So when it was time to fight, KB, after that dude hit him, he slapped off on him. Ain't none of y'all ran off that bench. So I don't hear nothing about y'all with y'all tough guy stuff. So that was what I had to do with that group because they were so below the level, they didn't understand. So when that team was just toying with them in that fourth quarter, I was like, this is y'all level. Y'all weak like that.
But see, let me say this though. Let me add something to that.
Go ahead.
That's not what I was talking about. See, my coach would take a guy that was yes sir, no sir. This same coach literally kicked me out of his gym and wouldn't let me work on my game. That's the type of coach we talking about. Like he had like a big ball. I don't know if you remember the big ball that help your ball handling and shit.
Yeah, the medicine.
So I didn't have nails, so I was trying to get the big ball out to practice and do guard drills and do. He said, son, it's time to go home. You need to go. You need to get out of here.
Then the ball that bounces. I got you. I got you.
Get out. Then he had a heavy ball, like the big, yellow. It was yellow, but it was real heavy. Mm-hmm. And I was working with that, and he had me leave. But he other guys could stay, but he made me go home. And the reason I'm saying all that, if I was on that team you just described and you was my coach, and to see I was the type of guy, I would have loved that because I would have been like, man, this is an opportunity for me to work hard. And if you telling me if I give effort, I'm gonna get results over time, I'm gonna just work hard. I'm not finna give up. So I'm gonna keep working. I'm gonna do what he say. And obviously, if I'm riding the bench, if I'm getting cut, I'm not that. So if you got this guy that done played college ball, I'm gonna listen to everything he say. I had enough sense to know that. I can't name one time where I mouthed at a coach all through high school. Never once did I say anything back. If a coach said it, it was gospel to me. I said, okay, well, that's what it is. If coach said it, that's what it is. These kids, man, up here, and it's funny because I had the same experience. I coached a lower level AAU team with some kids. They'll have games where they got 15, 16 points, but it's low level. It's kiddie stuff, right? It's not like they're playing the high level AAU teams. And when they would play them, they'll be walking around because they had one guy, he had 15 points. He felt like, I'm like, bro, you ain't did nothing. You hit 15 points against some subpar kids, some military kids. That I'm not saying that means you're sorry, but look, you got an
Right.
Asian kid, a Hispanic,
Yeah.
a Mexican kid. They not really ball players like that. You play that team from the hood, you gonna get beat to sleep. But they thought they was doing something. And I remember I used to try to tell them stuff in practice, and they'll be trying to beat me and get the best of me. And I'm like, bro, I'm not playing. I'm out here like penny loafers trying to show you how to get open, how to make good passes, how to protect the basketball. And if I show you some of them talking, you trying to strip me and embarrass me instead of listening. See what I'm saying?
No.
That's the type of kids they were. Needless to say, not one of them went anywhere. Didn't play junior college,
Same here.
didn't play nowhere.
Same here with that group. And here's I'm gonna crystallize my point with this. And shout out to Dip again. He said I coach under Greg Weiser Yates, great coach. So I understand what you're trying to. Yeah. So here's the finish of that. Here's the revelation of that whole story I was building up. So with that team, again, 16U. We also had another 16U, but they were like closer to 14, 15. And one of my kids, I actually used to play with them when we practiced. And I used to every now and then get in a 3-on-1, 2-on-1 fast break drills. And I mean, I caught a mean alley-oop one time and they just shut them down. But here's the irony. I earned the respect more of the other team, which were younger and more talented than my own team. So here's how I mean. One of their star players, well, the star player on the younger team, 16U, i.e. playing up, was John Walker III. He just graduated from Texas Southern University last year. He started off at Texas A&M. He finished at Texas Southern. He's playing overseas right now. That's how me and John got so tight. Because he was like, all right, man, Coach Frank's got some go. And what he's saying is true. And like, he'll tell you this. I mean, he came to Santa Monica 2 years ago, and we had an interview. And like, I got this strong relationship with him to this day because of my coaching prowess back then, right? But my team, who wasn't on level, they didn't view that as nothing to listen to because they thought they were better than what they were. And here's what the crux of all this was. And listen, man, I was a coach. Now I'm not gonna lie to you. I want to build you up, but I'm gonna level set you. I told them my 7th graders are better than y'all, and they just wave you off or whatever. And listen, man, the world works in funny ways. To end the season off, and I told Sub about this story pre-show. We went to the Great American Shootout in Dallas, Texas, which is one of the biggest tournaments in AAU. We were a little short on players, so I brought in 3 players. So one was Andre, 7th grade, going to 8th grade. This is during summertime. Justin, 7th grade, going to 8th grade, and Tori, 8th grader, going to 9th grade. I brought them out to Dallas to play. And not only were they my best players, they were like punking them in the room so much so I had to pull them to the side like, hey, fellas, man, listen, man. Y'all ain't paying for this program, man. Y'all need to chill a little bit. So the whole crux of it was we played against Darren Williams' team. I forget what gym we were in. We played against Darren Williams' team. And I was like, and I was talking to him after the game, we lost, but the guys play hard. And I was like, man, some of our hardest players, man, we got a kid out here 12 years old playing, and the parents like, who's 12? I was like, Andre, stand up. His name is Andre Watson. He just graduated from Cameron University. I was like, Andre's 12. He's about 5'10", stupid long arms like Kevin Durant. And arms longer than mine. I'm 6'7" in real life. His arms longer than mine when he was 5'10". So I was like, we got guys out here giving all they got, only 12 years old, playing 16U, right? So then they understood, like, and then it's just, that's the irony. After that, they it's like the light bulb just went all the way off. Like, damn. I was like, yo, this level y'all think y'all at, dude, you don't play JV at your school as a junior. My boy, that's not normal. Your parents have the money to put you in this program, and a really nice program at that. Y'all got Under Armour, everything. Y'all look good when y'all travel.
You know what's funny, man, about these kids? Let me tell you what's funny, man. Like, in my day, AAU wasn't what it is, right? So for us, it was about playing high school ball. I always envied the kids whose parents had enough money to send them to private school. Because like when I'm at Carver, like for example, I'm at Lanier, my graduating class was almost 500 students,
Mhm.
right? Just the class of 94, almost 500 students from my high school. We still had a whole bunch of students, man. You see what I'm saying? So imagine you at a school and it's like maybe 3,000 students at that school. That's how big it is. And then you got somebody at a private school, it's 300 students, 250 students. You're going to play from 8th grade to 12th grade. You're going to play varsity. You ain't got to worry about nothing. All you got to do is show up. If you work hard, you like, well, yeah, but nobody's coming to those. Look, I seen cats get signed, and I'm gonna tell you, being that you the kid that don't get all the playing time, that's all I dreamed about. I would get Street and Smith magazine. I used to get I would get the media guys. My homeboy was a top 75 player. So all the media guys he had, I would get them. I'm like, man, let me get that. Because he went to AAU and put his and somehow got it. He went to the Nike camp and they asked him to write out the address. He put the address of his home address or something instead of for his school. So they would send it to his house. So he got all his letters. So the thing was, I used to go through his shoebox and he would have just 2-3 shoeboxes of letters from different schools. And I was just envious. And I would see offer letters, all that. And he would give me the media guys. And I remember going through the media guide, looking at all the guys. And it'd be dudes on these media guys he played at a 1A school, he played at a 2A school, I'm like, oh, so everybody ain't play at a big 6A and wasn't an All-American that's on these rosters. Then when I got to JUCO and I was playing and I looked, I was like, man, this dude's on my team. Like the dude, Jamie, that got cut, that he cut, Jamie would have ate a lot of them dudes' lunch I played JUCO with. So that's when I realized, like, man, this dude is ruining a lot of opportunities. A lot of kids can get scholarships. A lot of kids can get on. And it showed when he left. When he left, all of a sudden, because I used to be at the community center playing with them kids. Yeah, man, so-and-so just signed with Athens State. It might not be no big. Everybody ain't going to Alabama, Auburn. Everybody ain't going to, Mississippi State or Ole Miss. No, some cats was signing with little small Division II schools and NAIA schools. And hey, man, you getting an education, you getting a full ride scholarship. And that's what it was about. Is because guess what? Even if you sign D1, what's your chance of making it to the league? 1%. I played with some of the coldest dudes. There's one dude I used to play with named Jamal. Jamal game was flawless, bro. Mississippi State, you can look him up. I think he averaged 10 points a game, starting point guard for Mississippi State. Jamal ain't make nobody team. Nasty. You ain't gonna stop him. He don't miss. He shoot is going in. You might well run the other way. If he pull up, it's going in. It's just it's not. He don't miss, bro. One of them types. And I seen him do that against real defense. I ain't talking about no Rudy Poop defense. Mm-hmm. He really was legit, but he ain't make it. So I'm like, Jamal Cole, he's way better prospect than I was. Sometimes it's just okay to just admit what you were. I wasn't Michael Jordan, bro. I was just a regular kid that didn't have a lot of talent, just had a work ethic. But you know what? What I figured out in life, I was able to take that same work ethic and apply it in other areas, other arenas, right? But I think that's where the rubber meets the road. If a kid plays a sport and if you don't instill those values, then what really did you give him? If you sitting there in you watch those Pee Wee League games where they cussing all these kids out and acting ignorant and bringing in Kodak Black, you're not instilling no hard work ethic values. You just demoralizing a lot of these kids. I've seen little kids, 8 years old, 6, 7 years old, crying. And the coach called a dude a bitch ass nigga. I'm like, bro.
Yeah, that's crazy.
He did it. I just looked real. I was the only one that did it. Everybody else was used to it. I looked like, what the heck? He called his little boy, cussed the little boy, missed a tackle. Like, bro, he just touched the football last year. This is his first time doing it. You cussing him clean out. And like I said, dudes on my channel yesterday, well, I mean, you gotta understand that's the real world. That's how life is gonna be. I'm like, well, look, man, by every metric, black men are losing. I don't see how this is helping us. Cussing him out, that's not real masculinity.
No.
That doesn't mean that's what it takes to be a man. You got to cuss at people and be disrespectful. No. Do you control your emotions? If anything, you got to be calm and stoic and poised under pressure. When a woman is all hysterical and acting crazy, how are you going to act? How are you going to respond? That's manhood.
Well, I want to comment to that actually. You know, the brother, I'll leave his name out this stream, but he was kind of saying that that's what happens to you in the workplace. No, there's nobody gonna call you a bitch ass nigga at work. That literally is like a HR violation. Can somebody get on your ass? Yeah. Can somebody come at you kind of crass? Yeah. So that I agree with, but from the extreme of basically demoralize you or emasculating you, that doesn't go on at work. And I said that in your chat. I was like, I've never been in a time where someone talked to me so gruffly. Maybe as a grad assistant at Prairie View, but we all talk to each other that way. Like I literally would cuss out the head coach because I played under him too. So that's not really a real function of the premise.
I don't know what it is about HBCUs. It's different.
It's different.
HBCU is different, man. I don't know, because you don't see too much of that in like a bigger program, but them HBCU, man, they be out of control, bro.
Man, because it shouts to my guy Byron Rim, who's the head coach at Prairie View at the time, and he was just like, "You see how my assistant talked to me?" Because I played under him, so I used to go out with him and hang out. So when he used to say some ill shit, I'm like, "Man, shut your ass up," because that's the rapport he established. You feel me?
Yeah.
One of my
Coach Plummer from Arkansas Pine Bluff. You know Coach Plummer?
I heard of him. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. He was talking to my homeboy when we was in JUCO. He was talking about going up there for a visit. We didn't go though.
Yeah, man. And shout out to Gail, man, in chat. Shout out to Sir Tice as well, man. Good to see you.
What up, Tice?
So yeah, man, it's just like you got to understand the level. So I want to get to this real quick, man. While I have you still, live with me. Let's talk about because you segue perfectly back into these coaches who just go too far. And I think we did a good job establishing bad practice, personal experiences. So now we can kind of crystallize that point with a coach who I'm sure has no real background playing no doggone football and taking it too far. Let's go.
At the heart of the controversy surrounding Esquire Network's new reality TV show, Friday Night Tykes, featuring 5 San Antonio football teams with children as young as 8 years old.
Don't give me that soft crap.
I don't care how much pain you're in, you don't quit! Is it about teaching discipline through tough love, or is it crossing the line?
This is where you earn your blood.
Now this is on CNN, so they're gonna edit out if you actually watch the series, they were saying something.
I did. I watched it. It.
They were saying some incredibly ill shit to these kids. So of course they're gonna kind of tone it down, obviously, because you're on a nationally syndicated network. You gotta kind of present it. But the big Mexican dude is the interesting character with this, because they showing tone down.
The one got suspended. You talking about the one got suspended?
Absolutely.
I know you're talking about. Yeah. His team wasn't that good. Yeah.
But they're showing mild versions of what he was about. But I just kind of just giving you what I have to work with. So for the listening audience, I just want to say that as we go forward.
Playtime!
If that kid comes across, I want you to put it in his helmet. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
I don't care if you don't get up. Let's go.
2 of those coaches now find themselves facing consequences.
Yeah, that's him right there. Listen, from what I've seen so far, nothing wrong with none of that. Because for y'all who didn't play sports like that, it's called moxie. You got to kind of give people an inflated sense of self to go out there and do things that you don't think you can do. But you cross the line, like Sub said, when your coach calling you a bitch ass nigga. When your coach, is just insulting you on a level that you don't deserve to be at. But
I'm gonna be honest with you too, bro. I'm sorry as a father. I'm a little bit. I done got a little softer, more overprotective as a parent. I don't want nobody hitting my son. Is gonna be long and lanky. He gonna probably be taller than me. I'm 6'1", 6'2". He might hit 6'3". I don't want him out there getting laid out and somebody trying to hurt him. And these kids, if you watch this show, he encouraged them to hurt people instead of win the game. Just win the game. Hit him hard, make it a clean hit. That's what you're supposed to do. Teach them how to hit clean, hit them hard. That's it. That's enough. Cool. But you had one kid, I think I saw one scene in this episode where the kid really had brain damage. They hit him real hard. He 9 years old. Like, no, dog. No, these kids, life think about what you were doing at 9. And think
Yeah.
about the thing. I'm in tech. I'm a database developer. I do BI. I code. Can you imagine somebody trying to hit you and destroy your brain at 8, 9 years old and don't think that doesn't have any type of lasting effects? In fact, we do know CTE affects your personality. Look at
Antonio
Antonio
Brown.
Brown. Yeah, Antonio Brown was a nice, laid back guy. That done Vontaze Burfict hit him, and he ain't the same. I'm sure when he passed away, they do an autopsy. He's got all types of tears in his brain. I know he does from all those hits. And my thing is, at the end of the day, as a parent, I'm not even really feeling football like that. I'm just being straight up. If he asks me, I'm gonna let him, but I don't. I'm not just gonna push him to play football like that because I see. It's just, for me, I'm like, bro, son, you got way more options. Your dad, I'm gonna teach you. I'm gonna teach you in entrepreneurship. I invested some money for you when you get older. You want to start a business. I'll be able to drop 6 figures for you to start a business. You don't have to do this.
Right.
You ain't got to play to get us out the hood. So don't go out there and put your body. That's the thing I don't like. Because you got a lot of guys that play college that sacrifice their body for the betterment of the team and they didn't even get a look in the NFL. And you got bad knees, you know how many dudes walk around here 27, 28 with bad backs and knees because of what they was doing in high school and college? It's no, bro. You can get an education a million ways. I just don't think we should, especially black people. Black people have a tendency to we think, sports is there. It's not. Sports is not everything. And I'm sorry, I'm just not a fan of football to that point where I'm willing to have my son sacrifice his intelligence, because that's what you're doing. You ruining your brain cells. Sorry, hate to get off my high horse. I'm gonna get off my high horse.
Like, and yeah, you're right. Like these parents will sacrifice everything for this kid to be, the generation breaker, what have you. Look at a kid like the coldest to ever do it, Crawford. This kid, his mama named him the coldest to ever do it, Crawford. So basically, this young man has to make it in football, or nobody's gonna take you serious in life, man. Let's just be honest. You looking at job application, you see a dude named the coldest. Like, what the hell is this? Right? So you hamstrung your kid, and listen, man, he started off at LSU, he went to Nebraska, now he's at Louisiana Tech. So he's a school hopper. I mean, I'm not saying that means he's a horrible person.
No, he probably got that. He gonna probably get 2 more years because of that done COVID stuff. So
right. So I mean, he got about 5 years to do what he needs to do, but it's not panning out. Again, you started at LSU, you went to Nebraska, now you at La Tech. I think we all can understand La Tech is gonna be the obvious least beneficial program of the ones you were previously at. But again, you hamstring your kid by naming him that shit, the coldest to ever do it, Crawford. That's crazy. That's crazy. So if you look at me on Instagram, my real page, Monsieur Franks, I put that the coldest to ever do it, Franks. And it's as a parody to say that. But it's like, this is what these young men are up against. All this expectation.
Well, you saw the program that showed the movie, the program.
Yeah.
Right.
You said Life's
not the program. I'm sorry. No, Friday Night Lights. Remember, your boy's character from Antoine Fisher, really good. Booby, whatever his name, they called him Booby. Yeah. And he was killing. Naturally, just an all-around natural talent. His uncle was the problem. His uncle, remember at the beginning of the show, the movie, he was up there talking, yeah, guys. He's, we looking for some, he talking to the scouts. He out there killing and jucking everybody. And I said, man, I've seen this before, right? We all have, of the parent, the mom, the dad, sticking their chests out. My son is averaging 30 points. My daughter is this. My son is the quarterback. And then the dude got hurt. And the scene that hurt me more than anything was when he walked out of there. He took his number off the locker. Hey guys, y'all go out there and kill him, man. Don't worry about it. And he went to the car and cried like a baby. And he said, what we gonna do now? I'm like, dude, you're still in high school. What you mean, what you gonna do now?
Yeah.
Like, what you mean, what you gonna do now? You could be anything. Like, but the parent, it was the uncle. It was the uncle. The uncle made him feel like. And then if you remember the movie, the program, the dude that was the head, the linebacker of the defense, the anchor, pretty much was a first rounder. Got hurt, and they showed him in our rundown house. Where I'm like, man, y'all really taking a chance, like playing the lottery, literally. You got hundreds of thousands of people trying to play this game at your age, just at your age.
Mm-hmm.
Per year, coming out of high school, you got 100 and some thousand kids. Out of that, you got maybe, one in 100,000. I think the odds just to play college is like ridiculous. And then
It's
the
ridiculous.
the odds that go from college to the NBA or NFL is even is done to like getting struck by lightning.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's like you've set up here, you've invested all this time. And I'm gonna say this about myself. I put in, this was my life. Get out of school 3 o'clock, 2:50. Go straight to the weight room. Because I came up in the Michael Jordan era, right? So I'm going straight to the weight room, squat rack, leg press. I'll be in the gym about 20 minutes, I'm out. No benching, none of that, right? Because I ain't want to get too heavy up top. Go to the gym, play from 3:15, 3:30 to 9 o'clock at night, 4 days a week. No homework, none of that, right? Friday, they close at 6. I'm going 3:15 to 6. We playing hard as we can. Saturday morning, we getting up. I'm begging my brother to take me somewhere across town. We going to play pickup Alabama State. We going to play at Auburn University, Montgomery. We going to play at Maxwell Air Force Base. We going to play at Chisholm Community Center. Somewhere they playing. We'll ride all around town till we find somewhere to play. Then we'll do it all over the next week. If you add that up, that's probably, let's say, 30 hours a week of basketball I put in. What if I'd have put 15 hours a week studying?
Absolutely.
What would I have been? Where would I would have went to Harvard. I'd have went to Harvard.
Hello.
See what I'm saying? And that's with me getting half my time back. So no, I think sports is, it's good that these Africans are taking it over, because I think Americans need to understand there's more to life than chasing a doggone leather basketball or football. And I do, and this is me as a guy who did the same thing. I chased it. It didn't get me what I wanted. I didn't get nowhere in life. I ain't gonna say it didn't get me what I want. I got a scholarship, but and it took all I had to get even overseas. I had to done there, talk my way over there. Ain't nobody trying to. I'm just being straight up. I wasn't that guy that was getting all that. Oh man, this guy's getting 30 points. No, I wasn't that guy. Even at Tuskegee, right? We had some D1 guys on that team. It wasn't just like you just gonna go in there and just kill. A lot of these low-level teams, these HBCUs, some of these guards be some real deal players. So, it's different, man. I was able to improve. I was good enough to where when I went back to Montgomery and played with those guys that was all city and all, I laughed at them then, because I was like, man, I've seen way more than this. Yeah, I was way better than them by then. But it took, it was a hard work. Yeah, I was able to take that same work ethic and apply it in life. And I ain't gonna go into my personal story, but I've been through a lot, right? Business, real estate, modeling. I went overseas, like I said. Then I owned a comedy club. I promoted concerts. Then I got into IT, self-taught. I taught myself SQL. Same thing, same mentality I had in basketball. So it's just it's an attitude. And it's good to have, but a lot of us as athletes, from what I find, a lot of athletes quit. They'll quit in real life.
Yep.
When it come to sports, you realize a lot of these guys that were good in high school, they just naturally was 6'8", 6'9", naturally could put the ball on the floor. Was the guy that coach had no choice but to play. 6'7", 6'8". But when life hit them, they quit. They get punched in the face one time and give up and get relegated to being, I'm not knocking this one guy I know. All the talent in the world could put the ball on the floor. We called him Magic. 6'7". Big. I'm talking about 240. Dude quit. Went to Alabama A&M, which is it's underachieving for his talent level. Alabama A&M. And then he quit. Went home. Just gave up. Never went back. They wanted him back. They was gonna give him a red shirt year, and he just quit. Didn't go back. Now he a handyman at an apartment complex. You know, underachieved. I mean, I ain't trying to. He got a decent living. I'm not talking about that, but just for the potential that he had, this dude's supposed to been easily could have went to Alabama somewhere. Easy.
Well, I think this is why conversations like these are necessary. And y'all hit the like button if y'all done so. Y'all are big tripping. And also, if you really like the conversation, you guys hit the subscribe button or the super chat button. You get priority over there if you like the convo. But yeah, I mean, these conversations are necessary because like the B sides of a lot of these situations don't really get discussed. Everybody just talks about the people who succeed or the people on the highest stage or what have you. But we're not talking about these casualties. And so shout out to my guy Grady, who I used to coach at Prairie View, man. And Grady got a story. Man, I want to bring this young man on the channel, bro. Grady was at one point one of the highest touted athletes in Dallas, Texas, when he was in high school. When he did some bouncing. His story was in the USA Today about a decade ago. Grady got a story, and I want to bring him on here. But and listen, some of it may be his situation, the coaches, this, that, and the third. But these things are apropos of reality. So, and that's why I like when you called me earlier, because these things need to be discussed. Like these coaches are supposed to be these gatekeepers, as it were, to these kids' development. And these MFers be out of pocket, man. They be way out of pocket. So, and I like to push back. Dipper was kind of on my ass earlier, but I'm like, no. My whole thing was I had a grander purpose when I would get at my kids. And my purpose was to stay principle driven, to learn the game and respect the game. That was always my purpose. I told you I led in with I didn't care about wins and losses like that because I don't care about being a 7th grade district champion. That don't mean nothing to me. I've actually played basketball. I actually had real accomplishments in basketball. That didn't mean nothing to me. But what you find is a lot of coaches, they just coach to win, coach to get a banner so they can go to Applebee's and talk shit on Thursdays when coaches meet up. I didn't care about that shit. I didn't care about it at all.
Let me tell you something funny. My homeboy that was top 75 in the country, he was trying to work a deal. The dude, Coach Lewis, the guy that slapped my homeboy in the back of the head, the other dude, how about he was trying to get a deal with him and another kid signed to Georgia. Georgia told him if they get my boy to sign with them, he'll get an assistant coach job as one of their coaches. They'd have gave him a staff job. So guess what he was doing? He was trying to turn all the other coaches off and trying to steer him to go to Georgia. He wound up signing with LSU. But he was supposed to win. He's really supposed to go. He was really, they were telling who else, because whenever a coach did come to practice and look at him and try to see him, he would say something negative. So all the things, my boy, he'll tell you, he said, man, the only reason I got where I was going was because of AAU. He said AAU and this back in like 93. So AAU wasn't what it is now. You had this thing back then called ABCD camp, which was that's what Jerry Stackhouse. Yeah, it was Jerry Stackhouse. It was Converse at first. It was Jerry Stackhouse and all them. And Converse had it one year. I think Adidas got it back. I think when Kobe was there, Adidas had it. But at any rate, my boy was, that's what got him on, going to them camps in the summer. It wasn't playing, but whenever you would see a guy come in, a scout come in from like Auburn stayed in our practice though. They wanted your boy. And he didn't know. I mean, he said if he'd have known, he would have signed there. If he'd have known the talent that was going, because that's right when they formed Doc. I don't know if you remember Doc Robinson, Chris Porter out of Abbeville, Alabama. They went to the Final Four. You probably don't remember this. They lost to Ohio State. Scooney Penn and all, they lost to Ohio State.
I remember Scooney Penn.
Yeah, that's who they lost to. I think Thunderbird was there. But
I remember Thunderbird.
That's what I'm saying. My boy, he was he's supposed to really win somewhere, man. They messed him up. You know what I'm saying? He's like, man, that coach, he'll tell him who could have really signed him. Now he did get his letters to the house, most of them,
Mhm.
But if a coach came in there, he'll turn them off and tell them, yeah, man, I think he's gonna sign with Georgia. He wouldn't turn them. He would, they couldn't. They wanted him. Be like, yeah, I think he's going to Georgia because he wanted the job. It was all about him. It was all about him. If a community college asked about one of his role players, he wouldn't even tell the player. He wouldn't even try to get the coach to talk. He wouldn't do nothing. So some people are really toxic and they're selfish as coaches. And a lot of these dudes is all about themselves and what they can get from a kid. It's not about what the kid can, get from their program. Like they can care less. Like, I don't care if you get nothing from our program. It's all about us. Let me tell you this last story about this guy.
Okay.
So I was in the 11th grade, and I had been talking to my homeboy about leaving and going to another high school, right? I didn't want to, I didn't want to leave because I've been at this school since 3rd grade. This is all I knew, right? This other high school that I was really zoned for was pretty much, I only knew 2 people in the whole school, right? So I didn't want to leave, but basketball I loved basketball, and I felt like he wasn't looking out for me. And so I was just talking, right? So somehow it got back to the coach that I was talking about leaving and transferring. Man, how about Coach Lewis was up there at the front? My mama I had to check in one day because I was late. He saw my mom. He said, hey, how you doing? Can we come in here and sit down? I just want to talk to you for a second. I didn't know what coach was finna say. Because I'm thinking, you didn't tell me you was finna talk to my mom about nothing. We had nothing to talk about. Because I wasn't going to transfer. Man, I get in there. This dude starts saying, look, man, your son, he talked to my mama. And he's a smart kid. I think he can go be a lawyer. He can do anything he wants to do. He's very smart. He's hardworking. He's a good kid. He does what I tell him. But son, look, you'll never play college basketball, okay? He looked at me. He said, you'll never play college basketball. He said, I've been doing this for 20-some years. I know a real college basketball player when I see one. You are not a college basketball player. Go be a lawyer. Go join the military. Then he said, you ain't better than Bug. You think you better than that? Bug is the guy that he told me when I went off in practice. He said, well, Bug gonna kill you when he get in here. He way better. I'm like, God dang, man. Like, how do you feel? That gotta ruin you. Like, dang, man, I work hard, bust my ass all summer, weights, foot drills, getting up, running, agility. I did it all. Ball handling, watching tape, whatever I could. I'm at the gym 7 days a week, walking. I would walk to the gym. I ain't have no car then. And for you to do that to me, when I never gave you any lip, I thought that was low down, bro, and uncalled for. But anyway, he said all that, and my mom got mad. So when we leave, I'm walking her to the car. Mom, like, look, you want to go to school? You want to go to Lanier? You can go. Because I don't like the way he challenged you. And if you want to go, I'm going to take you up there tomorrow morning. We're going to get you transferred over to Lanier. Well, guess what? I went to Lanier. I left. And the reason I left was because of the way he talked to me. The way I got tired of that disrespect. You know what I'm saying? Now, he hated it. He said he regretted that I left. He actually had a problem with me leaving. But my thing was, at the end of the day, bro, you wasn't playing me. And when you was playing me, you was like, well, you was going to play the next year. I'm like, it didn't matter. You had 3 other seniors just like me and Bug, who was going to be a senior. So you think I'm going to believe that you're going to let Bug play less his senior year? No, you're going to do what you did with him 10th and 11th grade. You're going to let him play the whole game. I'm leaving. I did what was best for me. But I'm just telling you, why would you, what about a coach tells a guy to look at a guy and say, you'll never do this, you'll never do that? One thing I noticed about life, you don't know what a man's drive is.
Absolutely.
You don't know what his drive is. You don't know what his work ethic. You knew I had a work ethic because you had to put me out the gym. He had to. He saw me 9th grade. I wasn't nowhere near good enough to play varsity or even try to play varsity. 11th grade, I think I was good enough to start, to be honest with you. I mean, it was games I got in there and actually brought us back and we won. I think I made a couple of key plays. So it wasn't like I was just some little scrub ass player. 12th grade, I felt like I would have probably been the better player, but I knew I wasn't going to get a fair look. My thing is, at the end of the day, man, coaches like that shouldn't be coaching, bro. That's just how I feel about it. call me a whiner, call me well, oh, here you go, you know, you this, you that, you just ain't had the mental toughness. Like, bro, but I knew if I bust my ass, I wasn't gonna get a fair shake. That's not mental toughness. That's looking at a situation for, if you know a man, if you're a woman in a relationship and you know the man gonna cheat on you, you know he ain't gonna stop cheating. What do? You leaving.
Yeah.
Everybody kept telling, and them niggas used to call me a quitter. Oh, you a quitter. Like, no, I didn't quit. I just went somewhere to chase my dream because he wasn't gonna help me accomplish what I wanted. You look at it like quitting. I don't look at it like quitting. That wasn't quitting. Quitting would have been giving up and not playing ball no more and just saying I'm going to the military, like my homeboy did. I wasn't giving up. I was not giving up. And I'm so glad my mom told me I didn't like, she saw it. She saw, because my mom didn't want me to, she didn't care about me playing basketball. But when he sat there and said, you think you better than Bub? You ain't better than Bub. You ain't gonna be no college basketball. You're like, wait a minute now, hold on. Wait a minute now. I want him to get his education, but you know, you trying to tear him down like he's never gonna be able to do something. Son, go where you want to go. Chase your dream. My mom ain't know nothing about basketball, but she knew he was full of it.
Well, I'm gonna say this too, man. A great talent evaluator, and me and him have patched this up since then. If you guys, I know the widest base of my listeners are from Houston. Jim Hicks. Jim Hicks, I remember my dad came to him at the Campbell Center right after I graduated. It's some tournament going on or some shit. And he was just kind of, asking, like, any teams that looking for, power forwards, my son with blah, blah, blah. So he looked me up and down. He said, okay, what schools you go to? I was like, Eisenhower. He's like, oh, okay. Leading scorer, Larry Davis, Will Johnson. He started doing in his head. So y'all average about blah, 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 a game and blah, blah, blah. He's like, man, ain't nothing I can do for you, man. He turned around and went back to look at the game.
Damn.
I never forgot that. I never forgot that.
How tall were you?
6'6".
You know what, man? I'm gonna say this, bro. North of 6'5", 6'6". Most coaches, at least a good coach, will say, I don't know, I'm gonna see what you can do.
Man, exactly. A
nigga like me, I can see him doing me like that because I'm 6'1", 6'2". It's hard to you're a diamond does it. Unless he Michael Jordan, he ain't, Whereas with you, it's like, man, 6'6", 6'7". Man, we could probably put this guy. He don't tell it, man. He can probably develop into a decent player. I've seen coaches take chances on guys. I knew guys that wasn't working as hard as me that got shots. Like the guy I told you that quit. He didn't have no work ethic, but he was 6'7" and he used to be short and played point guard. Then he turned out to be 6'7". So
okay. So all I'm saying, Sub, is as I turned out to be a professional basketball player after all that. And listen, I'm not saying Jimmy, man, maybe he having a bad day, maybe having a long day. I ain't saying that man owed me shit. But what I am saying is that was a pretty fucked up exchange. If I'm just being, because I remember it vividly.
You did that in front of your dad?
Oh yeah. He just turned around and kept the game. So, and my dad a big dude, but he's not a controversial dude like that. That's not what my dad is. And he's like, all right, son. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I never forgot that moment. And then
I would have had to talk to my son after that. Like, you see what he did. I would have had to, because I was not talking about your dad. I'm just saying him. So I'm like, son, see what he did? Now we got to work hard. What do you want to do? We got to work hard to show this guy.
Maybe he did. I don't remember that part. I remember the part that set me off. Maybe he did.
Let me tell you something, man. They say in life, you can remember the 10 worst things people said to you way before you can remember the 10 best things people said to you.
Right.
It's like taking a nail and driving it into a tree, right? Then you come back a year later and take that nail out and come back 20 years later, you're going to still see where that nail was in that tree 20 years later. The problem is with stuff like that, with coaching, you driving nails into them. You can either build something constructive with those nails, or you can just take them and just recklessly ram them in there. And that's what a lot of coaches do. They just ramming nails into kids and not really trying to build something. Like nailing wood can be a good thing if you're building a structure. So you need structure with it. You can't just randomly say any reckless thing to these kids, because what you're doing, and what I think is as a father, this is the way I feel about it. I prayed for a child. I wanted a child. I wanted a son, and God gave me that. It is an opportunity to pour into someone. You're building people. That's really what I look at. I'm building someone. So every moment, every day, I'm pouring in. I'm giving lectures. I'm telling them why you should think a certain way. Why the world is this. That's what my brother did to this. What my dad was, my mom. And so the thing is, when you're a coach, you get a chance to partake in that. And when you don't look at it like that, and you take it like for granted and just say, it's all about me and winning. And I don't care, this kid's an asshole. I don't care if he wound up selling drugs. Can he help me win right now?
Yeah.
That's most coaches.
I'm gonna give you a name. Kid named Gary Flowers, man. He was on the wire about that because he was like that, but he was just doing just a lot of effortry. And I remember the coaches I was coaching with was thinking about taking a flyer on him, but a lot of coaches ain't want to touch him. So yeah, man, that's a very real thing about players who have a lot of baggage damage to them, who be out there who still get priority regardless. Because I mean, listen, it's a fire to be hired scenario out there when we get past the high school level. You know what I'm saying? And so you'll see a lot of guys get a lot of more chances than others. And, you know, for better or for worse, that's just reality. But the thing in the development stage is like, it behooves you to prepare these kids properly. It behooves you to put the right things in these kids because, like Grady was just talking about, it's bigger than sports, man. Like you preach all the time on your channel. You being a person who is very entrenched in sports as well as me, people ask me all the time, man, you play ball? Like I was like, hell no, I ain't played ball since like shit 2015, really.
Yeah, I don't play no more. Yeah,
on some real shit, damn basketball.
Yeah.
As far as my life, I say I play life. That's why I tell people all the time. I'm in sales.
If
So
I
it's
could
like,
do it over, I wouldn't have touched basketball. Just given what I know now, I'd have probably went to medical school, been a doctor. Just to be honest, you actually have a better chance of making $700,000-800,000 a year as a doctor.
Oh,
like
that's
if you're a
damn-
plastic surgeon,
that's
like
what
if
damn-
you're a plastic surgeon, you're gonna make $700,000-800,000 a year. That's the national average is 400. Well, that was 10 years ago. So I'm sure it's went way up. All you got to do, go to medical school, get the training. That's it, right? You could be an internal medicine doctor, and it's like a certification that you get, and now you can do BBLs. That's what most of the BBL doctors do. They go get certified. So it's internal. Most doctors are internal medicine. It's easier to be a doctor than it is to make it to the NBA.
Yeah.
It's way easier. It's wide open. It's wide open. And you guaranteed 400,000. You guaranteed. All you got to do is just map your plan out and do it and execute. And guess what? It ain't gonna be a million niggas trying to compete with you. It ain't gonna be a million people trying to stop you. And it's wide open. You can make $500,000 easy in this industry. In medicine.
You against the system, basically. It's not you against competition. It's you against the system.
But do people know that? Because most people think I'm gonna make it to the NBA. You can let's say maybe not NBA. NFL, there was a time where the national average for league minimum and the national average for plastic surgeon, you make more money as a plastic surgeon than you would as league minimum as a rookie.
Yeah.
So why would you? It made more sense. Now I don't know about now. It might have went up, but still, I met a guy and I met a lady that was a plastic surgeon. The lady was making $800,000, bro. This was back in like 2013. I said, how much could one make? She told me. I mean, she was a nice lady. I was at a party. She said, oh yeah. Older lady, real good looking older lady. It's like, oh yeah, you can make about $800,000. I mean, 800,000 is, because I was thinking about going to medical school. But had I not played basketball, I probably would have. See what I'm saying? Basketball, now you're looking at, okay, does this school offer that? Does this school have this? You transferring. I bounced around different. I went to two different JUCOs. I went to Wallace in Hansville, Wallace in Selma. I went to Auburn University in Montgomery, right? I went to Tuskegee, and I went to Troy State. So I went to all these different schools. So that's the That's the dilemma. You know, chasing basketball hoop dreams it hurts a lot of kids. And that's what you see. They say 30% of kids in basketball and Division I programs are going to hit the transfer portal have already hit the transfer portal.
Yeah.
30%. It's probably going to get up even higher. So now you got a bunch of kids. Look, can you get some NIL money? Maybe. If you can make a couple of $100,000, cool. Go get your money. But most of these kids hitting the transfer portal, they're not getting $10 a week. And they hitting the transfer portal.
Man, that's just reality, man. And I hate that. So I don't say I regret playing Division I basketball whatsoever. But here's what I do regret. I do regret not taking a better initiative to major in something that was actually going to be fruitful to what I'm going to do later in life. So I came in as a kinesiology major from Stephen F. Austin. Went to JUCO. I was a general studies major, whatever the hell that means. I got my little JUCO degree, which I didn't stay for the graduation, man. I was out. In Prairie View, I majored in criminal justice because that's the only major that would take all my credits. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I've learned more from YouTube over the years, having a more developed brain, than I learned 2 years at Prairie View in those CJ classes. And it's not because I had incompetent professors. I'm not even asserting that at all. But what I did see over time is I'm learning a curriculum based on a slanted perspective. Meaning, when we look at these numbers, how they're so bad in our community, all we did was deflect. All my professors deflected.
What
They're
you mean?
like, oh, well, it's over policing. Well, it's proximity. Yeah, blah, blah. So then, because I harbored that. But then I would get into these, in-depth conversations with people over offending and uniform crime report and things of that nature. I already had embedded that I'm going to deflect our horrible numbers. But then when you step out that mindset and see like, okay, this may be a bigger problem afoot. And this kind of ties all the way back into the Kodak Black thing. Maybe we're putting the wrong shit into our kids, and this is the result we're getting. Maybe, just maybe.
Yeah.
You can't be at the lowest at saving money, the lowest at now we actually are pretty middle in earning money.
Sir Tice sent me a link this morning from YouTube. I was actually probably gonna do a coverage of it where they went out and interviewed gang members, right? Mm-hmm. Every one of these gang members said the same thing. They wanted to be in the game. They told me, they said, we could be anything. You could go be anything in life. You don't want this gang life. Don't try to fake it. Da, da, da. They knew they had a choice. All of them did. They chose it voluntarily. It wasn't that they were forced. That's a lie. You're not forced to sell drugs. You're not forced to be in a gang. I don't care what nobody say. But man, what about the scenario? Most of these drug dealers ain't out here.
You said most drug dealers can't what?
Dealers say stuff like, well, I had to help my mama pay bills. That's not why you selling dope. You selling dope because you didn't want to sell, you didn't want to wear the $75 sneakers your mom bought you. You wanted the $200 sneakers.
Correct.
You wanted to be flashy and had a car with the rims and the sound and get the girls and wear it. That's what you wanted. And if you didn't do that, you would have to be just another face in the crowd. And that wasn't good enough for you. And you didn't want to work to get it when you were 25. You wanted it in 2 weeks. So you went and you said, I can go do this. And boom, I'm there already. Exactly. And that's just a lack of character. That's just the bottom line. And black folks don't want to hear that. But that video was telling most of those dudes want to be in the game. They want to be out there on that street. You had one clip, all these brothers done been shot, all of them. They talking to like 8 dudes. Each one of them have been shot. He said, man, don't you want a life where you don't have to look over your shoulder? You know what they said? Man, that's a small thing. I ain't scared. I enjoy this. Like, this the mindset. Like, that right there we need to talk about that.
Absolutely.
Instead of talking about how you can make it out the ghetto ball. How about A lot of these dudes that's out here in these streets choose the street. I've seen dudes. This is the typical black story. Dude sells drugs. He's really, really, really good. There's a dude named Octavius Thomas. If you're from Georgia, you know exactly who you know about Oct. He around my generation. Gave Jason Kidd 40 in Las Vegas. Okay, legit. Jason Kidd was ranked over him. My homeboy said, Oct told him, I'm finna get that nigga the business. He ain't better than me. Country boy from Atlanta. Octavius gave him the business, bro. Let me tell you something. Oct gave Gary Payton the business in the 96 Olympics. They scrimmaged him. He was over at Atlanta Metro. He's that legendary, that good of a ball player. One of the best I ever seen. Dope boy. That's all he wanted to do, sell drugs. He wanted to. He could have played in the NBA. I mean, he literally was that good. Dudes was, people were trying to get him opportunities. He turned it down. He wanted to sell drugs. He enjoyed the street life. Got shot in the leg. They were still offering him scholarships. This dude was like, I'm talking about for real. You can look him up. Type up Octavius Thomas and just Atlanta 95 basketball around that time. And his name gonna come up. It's one of the best players.
Speaking of Georgia, I mean, just the things we champion now. I'm not talking about an athlete, but just kind of expounding on your notion of people championing bullshit. Brian Nichols, man, this dude was like shooting up a courtroom, and he's revered in Atlanta, man. Revered. It's like, what the hell is this shit that we call black culture, man? What the hell is this like thing that we champion? Because you know who I don't hear black people talking about and bigging up? Neil deGrasse. Now, Neil deGrasse be saying some bullshit sometimes, in my opinion. But overall, this is a scholar who has, a pretty upstanding life, man, who has, pretty good ideas to either challenge or to champion, right? Another cat, Larry Elder. You don't see nobody champion Larry Elder. Like, it's just like, oh, man, you're a coon, man. So you telling me a dude shooting up a courtroom is not a coon? What? You talking about him in rap songs and holding him up like Big Meech and all these cats? So it's just interesting to see how the community rolls.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Big Meech is when he get out, he's about to get out. It's gonna be the biggest. It's gonna be a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week party for that man. I live in Atlanta.
It is.
It's look here, bro. Meech get out, it's gonna be crazy, bro. Tell you right now.
The song BMF proves that. It proves that. BMF was a smash single about this degenerate dude.
Yep.
And I didn't know who he was, but the song just smacked. All right. Sub dropped off. I'm sure he'll pop back up. But like, listen, guys, like, I understand there's a balance with everything. I understand that there's certain things that are entertaining, some things are good, or what have you. But when we sit down and have a real inventory of what should be done and what we should champion, we gotta stop championing bullshit, man. We gotta stop championing bullshit, man. Go ahead, Sub.
Nah, you good. I had got knocked off, but I'm gonna leave in a minute. I just wanted to come up here. I appreciate you having me. But yeah, it's good you talked about that, bro, because this stuff we talk about, I think sports needs to be in its proper perspective, right? Like for black people, I think sports is greatly out of whack. It's way bigger in the black community than it should be, right? Like you should know, you should be just as much aware of how much a plastic surgeon makes as LeBron James' contract. You got guys that can name off dudes' contracts.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, man, yeah, he signed for 4 years, rookie contract. I'm talking about right now, if I get in a debate, dudes know how much money dudes is making in the NBA. But when you start talking about playing in a sport, like, okay, well, how much does the average plastic surgeon make? They don't know. Well, how much does an average doctor make?
Or a plumber, or a trash man.
They don't know. Like, you need to know that. There used to be a book called an Occupational Outlook Handbook that we used to have in school when I was a kid that we used to go through. Like I knew stockbrokers made a lot of money because I went through that book. They used to have to look at it. Like one teacher made us go through the book and take the top 5 salaries, look at what you like, list them out. We had a book report on that one time. Don't nobody do that. You don't have that type of stuff, especially nowadays. Times have changed. But look, man, I gotta go pick up my son.
Yeah, man, go on do what you gotta do, man. I appreciate you giving me 2 hours of your time.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, man.
Okay, bye.
Thanks, bro. Be safe, man.
All right.
All right, man. So I'm gonna go through this one little last part, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the link out, guys. If you guys want to hop up and expound on the subject matter, because I thought this was just a very good topic. And again, on my channel, what I try not to do is give you fodder. You know, I want to give you something that you actually can think on. You may not agree with my premise, but I want to give you something that you can actually use, you know, to actually talk about or actually, pontificate on and so on and so forth. So let me finish out this video of the Friday Night Tykes, and then again, whoever wants to pull up, and I got y'all. All right, let's get it.
According to CNN affiliate KENS in San Antonio, Charles Chavarria was suspended after cameras caught him telling players to hit the other team in the head.
I have regrets with my actions.
See, that's just wild, man, to hit a kid in the head. Man, listen, I understand the desire to want to win, but this is kind of going back to what I led in with. Dude, it's bigger than these wins and losses at this level. Nobody cares about because the kids now got these little fake rings they do. That's not tantamount to them being good, upstanding, productive members of society. It's a in the moment glorification thing. All my old trophies I used to have, them shits in my mama house in the corner. I'm sure there's so much dust on them that they probably starting to deteriorate down to nothing. I don't talk about them shits no more. What I do remember is the good men in my life who were the coaches, my dad in particular, who were teaching us like life, upstanding life lessons throughout sports. And that is more near and dear to me, not those trophies. And so cats like him, who I assume didn't play at such a high level, you're living vicariously through your kids, and intrinsically you're ruining them as well, because you're imparting things that are they're immoral. For one, hit a kid in the head. Like this kid is going to be another member of society. And then we know it's improper in football to go for people's heads, man. I'm not saying you don't go and put him on his ass. I ain't saying that. But you are encouraging things that is going to lead to a lifelong thing of this, comfort, possibly mental illness, just for the sake of you taking home 8-year-old championship. That makes no sense. All right, let's keep going.
And behaviors. I do have regrets with the shows. I've lost a lot.
Another coach, Marcus Goodlow, was also suspended, reportedly for encouraging profanity. He apologized on Twitter, saying, quote, "It's been a learning experience and will definitely make me a better person and mentor moving forward."
All right, so I stop the show, man, when you drop a little bit on it, man. Thank you, Joe, for the contribution. It's a great conversation clip. Thank you for bringing the solid brother in your show. His past reminds me, hey, man, Joe be killed in fantasy football. I ain't gonna lie to you. So, yeah, man, so, again, I hope my channel edifies you in certain ways. So with that being said, you know what that gets you over here, man. Dropping something.
You know what I mean, boy? Yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Yeah.
Man, appreciate you, Joe. Yeah, so let me get back to it. But yeah, so these things matter. It's cool. The coaches want to go and help the community, yada, yada, yada. So, but the checks and balances is, what are you telling these kids? What type of things are you imparting to these kids? That's the question.
Still, both the CEO of the Texas Youth Football Association and a league parent are defending the program, speaking to CNN's Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
I think what is not being shown is these hits in the show is not being shown what's happening after the fact, that the coaches are pulling the kids together to correct their actions as far as to say, this is not the proper way you tackle.
It is an intense activity, and our kids are pushing themselves, but it's because they have the potential for that greatness.
But some experts say the aggressive techniques and hard hits put kids at risk of suffering serious injury.
And listen, man, I'll entertain that. There's some things that don't get shown on television. The editing process is, it is incentive driven. Like it is motives that, people who do film editing, from the Hollywood level or what have you, they're trying to push a narrative. So I will entertain that. But when you go and saying all these incendiary things, it's just like, bro, that they wouldn't have that shit to show if you didn't say it.
It's everything that's wrong with youth football, and to some degree, it's a lot of what's wrong with television.
With more episodes planned to air, the debate continues about whether these young athletes are being pushed to their fullest potential or being pushed past the limit. George Howell, CNN, Chicago.
All right, so yeah, I think we wrap that with a nice little bow. It's not about. I'm all for kids, learning life lessons. Excuse me. That's what sports are about, especially football. It's about learning to be a little tough. It's about learning to understand the level of competition. Because listen, man, ain't nothing sweet out here, man. If you played sports at a decent to high level, ain't nothing sweet out here. Again, I'm not gonna run down my resume no more, but you learn, man, your pecking order in life. Being on, the gridiron, being on that court, you learn. So I'm not against that at all. I'm not one of them soft-minded people like where everybody should get a trophy and take it easy on. No. I'm not saying that. When you saying hurt them on purpose, you saying go for their head? Nah, that's something different. Grady says, I wonder when I was young, when these grown men are so invested in you. There you go. And so again, my own personal testimony. I didn't care about wins and losses like that. Because Cliff, the Coach Franks, I don't get nothing out of that. In middle school and AAU, I won a tournament. Who gives a shit? Unless I'm top level, then okay, I understand there's a bottom line. If I'm a high school head coach, okay, I understand there's a bottom line. Doesn't mean I'm going to compromise, development, but I understand that, listen, my job is contingent on me winning without lack of better words. It's contingent on me winning. So I'm not oblivious to that. But I think a lot of people, they hoard out that development process, that these are young men that's going to be out in the world. And I understood that at like 28, 29, 30 when I was teaching. I like, these young men are going to be young men now. And my last batch of kids about 23, 24 now. Like I understood that. So that was my chief goal. Like, I want to raise these dudes the best I can to be productive members of society. And listen, sometimes you got your casualties. Literally, one of my kids, Kyron, man, he died about 4 years ago. He got killed doing some stuff he shouldn't have been doing. And I remember driving home after games. And that hurt. I mean, not so much that, I'm sitting there crying or nothing like that, but I'm just like, damn. That's a kid that fell through the cracks. Because, I mean, as good as, we used to call him Kip. As good as Kip was, like, I appreciated Kip. He come over, he's like a late addition to the team. But at the end of the day, I saw he lived in, Greens Point area in Imperial Valley. I'm like, your parent don't care that you, after work, after the game, nobody's calling to check on you, see where you are. I had to, take him home a time or two. And I'm just like, damn, man, that's crazy. Like, my parents, man, I never had to worry about nothing like that. Like, they were there at the game. So if they couldn't make it, I damn sure had a ride home. So, it's very unfortunate when you look into these things, from an intricate level. And I'm going to drop that link again, and Gail just put it back in the stream. Man, if you guys want to come up and talk about this subject or anything, adjacent to it, let's do that. I'm off today. Let's do it. D-Lob says, I know this is a competitive game, but as an adult, we have to care about the opponent. Absolutely. You got to see the forest through the trees, man. You have to see the forest through the trees. It's not all about your direct instant gratification. You got to see that, okay, those are other young men, especially if you are a so-called black man. You got other so-called black kids on the other side. You know, if being race loyal seems to be a thing, you know, these days. Like, you got to see it more than a situation. You're trying to be basically a curator of a safe, good, competitive learning environment. That's what you are. You're a curator of that. It's like when you're a teacher, when you see students who may not be in your class specifically, but you see that if they need some correction, you're ready to step in and help. A cat on my channel, John Reed. He's the starting center at Syracuse, University of Syracuse football team. John Reed wasn't my direct kid, but John Reed took to me because I started seeing he was getting in trouble a lot and doing this. And he'll tell you himself, like, it's not me throwing him on the bus. He was on the channel about a few months ago. John Reed will tell you, like, that's the whole game. That's the whole goal. You're supposed to be helping these young men out. You're supposed to be getting these young men in a position to thrive and to succeed and to be better people. But when you get so caught up in the competition aspect that you start to compromise that, that's why I have issues with. That's why I have big issues with. So hit the like button. So the Friday Night Tights, we went over the Kodak Black thing. And again, just ask yourself, why are we in this position where we are so open to just let anything go on our watch? Again, Kodak Black, and so I know some of y'all coming in after the fact, got a cigarillo or whatever the hell he got in his ear with a bottle of whatever. Talking about kids, like he said, kids don't take drugs because you're gonna like them and you're gonna crash out or something. Matter of fact, let's go to the exact film. I may have closed it. Yeah, no, he said because you're gonna like him and you're gonna go crazy. Like, that's a surreptitious way to tell a kid to, like, yeah, don't do it. That's like saying to tell kids, yeah, don't go have sex because you're gonna go crazy because it feel crazy good, but don't do it because it's wrong. What do you think kids gonna go do? Like, what we talking about, man? What we talking about? So ultimately, my point is we need to vet out people properly. We need to understand that we need to basically synthesize our messaging to these young, impressionable minds that we have a vested interest in to curate, that all money ain't good money. Listen, Kodak Black may be popular. He may be, a famous entertainer, all that shit. But if we're being honest, you're goofy. Kodak Black's a goofy. Just listen to him talk. You can go and just pull up Kodak Black interview. You're goofy. It's like, come on, man. Dave says, fans are the worst part of it. Nowhere in society is uncouth commentary acceptable like it is in a game setting. Coaching morals get contradicted when they endure bad parents and fans in the crowd. Yeah, it can turn into a very toxic situation, very non-conducive to child bettering situation, for lack of better terms. I just literally made that up. I mean, because I've seen it all, man. Like coming up playing youth sports. I played soccer, I played football, I played baseball and basketball. Absolutely. Absolutely. You can see the goofy that exists, and I gotta say, mostly our community. And we talking back from the damn early 90s when I was a participant, right? Yeah, man, it's something to observe. It's something to observe. So again, the reason for streams like this is to just kind of give you some perspective, because these actions, these moves, these entities that exist, they affect our youth. And we have to be more intentional, because so here we are in a incensed election season right now. And everybody is so charged up over the two candidates. And what I always preach is, listen, man, that shit started home. It started home. It's not about what candidate is going to come and change your life per se. Now, in my opinion, I think one is way better than the other, but that's neither here nor there. It's about what are you doing in the home front? What are we doing to fortify our home situations? Are we letting anything fly? If so, that's a problem. Because like I tell minority groups all the time, i.e. Black people, that the most thriving, robust communities in America are Indians and Asians. And guess what? They don't vote. They don't vote like that. But you know what they are big on? Community shame. You know what they're big on? Sticking to your own. You know what they're really big on? Family structure. So I just find it funny that us being 13% of the U.S. population, we have such a slick and loose way to go about things. It's very interesting. It's very interesting because we're very passionate about what we're doing. But if we look at what we're doing, there's no structure to it. So bringing it all back, these coaches who are out there, again, being progenitors of your child's development, you need to check them. You need to check them. Dante says the home and environment determines everything. Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is not me being judgmental. This is not me being crass, me being, overzealous. It's just being factual. Facts are facts. Joe says we have a sufficient way to govern these adults and their behavior, then the kids will be better. Well, we got the thing called free choice, and that's going to kind of nullify that notion. But, I mean, there should be a standard. And that's why I don't listen to people who look like me who say that basically there are no rules to anything, and you blame everything on racism. No. Like you say, like D-Lob said, it starts at home. If your home is in disarray, I don't want to hear nothing about no goddamn white supremacy. I don't want to hear shit about that. Because you know what white supremacy does not limit? You paying your goddamn bills on time. You know what white supremacy does not limit? You teaching your kids right and wrong, teaching your kids to not have sex before, it's kind of old-fashioned before marriage, so I won't go that far, but to have sex indiscriminately, right? It's not white supremacy that's holding you back for telling your kids to save money. It's not beyond the pale of, it's not white supremacy holding your kids back of telling them you need to find a partner that aligns with your values and not how they look. Listen, people like looks, so I'm not, oblivious to that. But find someone that aligns to what you want out of life. That's not what we preaching to our kids. It's not white supremacy to tell kids that, you shouldn't be overindulging on alcohol, drugs, and all these other vices that can drive you down to be an addict where you cannot function. I ain't trying to hear that shit. I know we getting a little wayward, but those things piss me off. I can't say we hoops. I don't move like most people. Well, it's still we from a collective standpoint, whether we want to admit it or not. There's such thing called an ethnic image. And that is basically the summation of people of your said race. Case an example. Talking about karate, you know that it's associated with Asians, right? Talking about playing basketball and hooping in the neighborhood, that is associated with African Americans. It's called an ethnic image. So I understand that you don't want to be associated with that, but at the same time, that's just reality. That's how stereotypes are formed, and that's how they're reinforced. So someone who, gee gosh golly, that's a white dude. We know this. When black dudes try to mimic a white dude voice, that's how it usually sounds, right? So but let's not be coy about the we element. We know that we exist because it's the group. D. Moore David says there are some universities around the country trying to create a standardized coaching standard. Sorry, coaching. Goddamn, hold on. There are some universities around the country trying to create a standardized coaching standard. Okay, yeah, the two standard that messed me up for youth athletics. There's a lot of red tape around it. Yeah, I mean, I think people ultimately thrive under some form of discipline, some form of control. You got to have i.e. a standard. To your point, you can't just be obtuse about everything, because why is that? You don't have order. So I get it. I get it. Not relying on government to go out and work. Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't. Oh, D-Lop Boss says, I want some reparations, though. Hey, listen, me too. Cut the check. Now, listen, it's never going to happen. Because one thing I've observed about, when Jews got their money, they paid themselves. They were running the banks. So we don't have that luxury. So, don't hold your breath. D Moore says, my bad. Nah, you good, bro. So I can't control it. I won't take responsibility for it. Hey, I get it. But we're just talking about how that plays out in society. So you personally don't want to take the L, and I get it. I don't either, because I have no hand in it. But the reality is, again, with the ethnic image, is the sum of the people. And the sum of African Americans is that those are our proclivities. That's what we do. You can't run from reality, man. And I mirror your sentiment. I hate that for us. I hate that those are the standards that we have. I think it's bullshit. All right, so the contribution goal is 10. We got one in the bucket. Appreciate that. Listen, I always appreciate the contributions. I'm gonna drop the link once again. We've been 2.5 hours, and thank y'all for still being locked in. I hope y'all hit that like button, man. If y'all hit the like button, y'all big trip. So hit that like button. And again, man, I'm gonna try to be more on time with these. My girl's out of town, so it makes it easy for me to go live, today. But usually she works from home, so just the home office is kind of locked up by her in general. So yeah, man, listen to Gail telling you right. For his birthday, yeah. So my birthday coming up in about 2 months. So y'all do that. If you want to give me early birthday gifts, listen, I would not stand in your way, goddammit. And shout out to Gail too, man. I saw your series you had about a certain other content creator. That's some wild shit. That's why, man, YouTube's a funny place, man. That's why I don't get super involved with beefs and shit. Like, I've been on this shit for damn near 5 years. I ain't got a single beef. I've had some people make videos about me. I ignore it. I'm like, yo, no. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. Like, y'all, nah. I'm not about all that goofy shit. And I got all my personal information out there. I put my name out there, Cliff Franks. My emails out there, like all that. Yeah, I don't fuck around, man. Like, I let y'all have it, man. That ain't me. Support change. Yeah, there you go. All right, appreciate it, Gail. Gail also said, yeah, there's much more I share in the image of years. But yeah, listen, man. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be off it. All I know is, if you keep on getting into it with person after person after person, I am inclined to think that it got something to do with you. If the same people keep saying the same thing about you, it's probably true. And I'll leave it at that. Hoop jogging don't do no beef drama over here. I mean, I can go scorch earth, but that ain't my style, baby. That ain't my style. So keep moving on, brother. Yeah, I mean, yes, yeah, man. I can't. I've had people really trying to go in on me. And I'm just like, yeah, man. Hey, bro, you got it, homie. Because in real life, man, I had a real basketball life. I live a real life. I make good money. I stream for fun. I stream for edification, because guys like Chronicles of Judah 144 got me right in life. And that's a YouTuber. Yeah, he no longer YouTubes, but around 2018-ish, he opened my eyes to a lot of things. And so I appreciate him doing that on his own time. So yeah, I just come out, I just speak my perspective. I tell you what I think. Some people don't agree. Hey, it's your prerogative, man. It's all good. It's all good. Let's see. Yeah. Hey, there you go. Again, with me knowing none of the backstory, you start seeing the common denominator, man. Listen, it is what it is. And that's why I don't be on panels like that, talking all that yang with folks, man. Like, listen, man, you got it. Shout out to the ones I met in real life. E Black TV, Sub-Zero, Sir Tice, Obsidian, Mr. Jap, Bernard Riley, the Clue Channel, Theo Waff. Shout out to brothers I met in real life, you know, who YouTube and shit. You know what I'm saying? It's a good thing. I know I'm missing somebody. Freeman's Journal. My guy. Oh man, why am I thinking my guy? My first guy. Oh, Ball Facts. Shout out to Ball Facts. And damn, my homie from Memphis. Well, I can't think his doggone name. It'll come to me. My homie from Memphis. All right, man. Joe done hit it again, man. Thank you so much, brother. We're gonna bring the Mac man.
You know what I mean, boy. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why I can't think of my other homie from Memphis, man. He lives in San Diego, which ain't far from me yet. I can't think his doggone name. It'll come to me. But yeah, man, listen, man. But other than that, man, people who do all that ill shit, that's on them, man. That's on them. Appreciate y'all supporting the work over here, supporting what I've grown to be over the time. I mean, I started this channel actually when Kobe died in 2020. I started this channel right after. So my first few videos is literally me in my store working and just firing the camera up and just learning how to edit. So to where it is now, where I kind of, you know, a lot more efficient. Yeah, man. The boy say Reverend Cliff. That's funny. Fahara Vision. This is what I'm talking about. My guy Fahara. Shout out to Fahara. Guy I meet in real life. So, man, y'all let me know in the South, man. Y'all got a new a meetup. Man, listen, I'm gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up, especially if you're out here in Cali. Oh, my other guy, god damn it. Older gentleman, he'll come to me. He came out here to LA, met up with him. So, man, YouTube can be a great place to meet some great people. Kevin Proctor, who I'm speaking about. So shout out to Kev, man, if you still follow. It's good things you can learn. It's good things you can glean from good people. There's a lot of, you know, fuckery you can attach yourself to. So, I mean, shout out to my guy Flight. I got to text my guy Flight back. He asked me about doing a show later, so we'll do that. But, I mean, listen, man, like, it's a lot to do out here. It's a lot to say out here. And I just think shows like these are important. So this is all a derivative of Sub-Zero calling me early this morning. And like I told him, he called me like right when I woke up. But he was talking about this subject because he had another subject that was kind of, you know, running concurrent with this theme. I was like, man, hey, man, we having this great conversation. Like, let's just fire up a stream and do it. So shout out to Sub, man, for hopping in there. So yeah, we got our contribution goal set at 2. Thank you for Joe being the supporter of the stream. So all right, man, I ain't got much left, man. If y'all want to hop on, Gail has dropped the link. I'll drop the link. If you want to come in and say your bit, say your piece. I think, listen, man, this is a mostly Black-centric channel. So if you want to speak about these coaches, now I know in my thumbnail, I have a Hispanic coach. So if you're Hispanic, come up here and speak your piece. But it's about football. We know a lot of our young men are ingratiated in that culture. So I would love to hear your opinions. Excuse me. This day I'm actually off. So it's the day, goddammit. It's the day, goddammit. Because I'm pretty good on that too, man. I wish my guy Grady would hop on because Grady has a hell of a story to share. But maybe I'm gonna just try to get Grady on one-on-one. He has a hell of a story to share about his the teams he was associated with Don Nelson being very much. I was trying to find that article in USA Today, but I couldn't find it. So on my free time, maybe when I get him on the channel, we can run down on that stuff. All right, Cyrus says this was a good show, brother, with the brother Sub. Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate that. So, all right, man, with that being said, we've gone 2.5 hours. I think that's enough. So if you guys do not want to come up, no problem. I will enjoy the rest of my last off day before I go back to the plantation, i.e. work tomorrow. And I thank y'all for being a part of this, man. This don't exist without you guys coming here and commenting and patronizing. So with that being said, I'll talk to you on the flip side. I may do a show later today. So y'all stay locked in. Subscribe if you are new. Because I'm pretty sure I'm going to do a show later. So talk to y'all soon, man. Peace.